1955. Visit KramerSiding.com.
President Trump is reiterating his claim that ousted FBI Director James Comey told him he wasn't under investigation as part of the probe into Russian meddling in the election.
I actually asked him, yes. I said, if it's possible, would you let me know, am I under investigation? He said, you are not under investigation.
In an interview with NBC, the president also saying he would have fired Comey regardless of the recommendation given by his deputy attorney general. Defense of the president on display at today's White House briefing, where Fox's John Decker is live.
President Trump says he discussed the Russia probe with the FBI director 3 times, which could have been a violation of Justice Department policies. But White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders is defending the president's actions.
Look at the people that followed up the interview. There were multiple attorneys that came on after and specifically stated that it was not inappropriate and it wasn't wrong for the president to do so.
Under DOJ policies, to avoid the appearance of impropriety, ongoing investigations generally are not to be discussed with White House officials. Pam?
Thanks, John. On the Senate floor.
This is about more than just Mr. Comey.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer renewing calls for a special prosecutor to take over the Russia investigation, a move also favored by a handful of Republicans. The Arkansas Sheriff's deputy gunned down during a traffic stop identified as 46-year-old Lieutenant Kevin Mainhart.
This deputy checked in for duty this morning, not even realizing that this would be his last call.
Bill Sadler with state police. Mainhart was on his way to a disturbance call where the bodies of 2 other people were found. The suspect is holed up inside a home. At the closing bell on Wall Street, the Dow down 23 points amid disappointing earnings reports from retailers like Macy's and Kohl's. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Emergency situation at a nuclear waste site in Washington state is over. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal is live in our West Coast Bureau.
Pam, Energy Secretary Rick Perry says a sinkhole that developed after a tunnel partially collapsed has been filled with soil. That tunnel is filled with nuclear waste. It's unclear how it happened or even exactly when, but after it was noticed Tuesday, thousands of workers had to shelter in place for hours. Officials said no radiation or contamination was detected. Tom Carpenter is the director of the watchdog group Hanford Challenge.
If it was another facility like one of the underground nuclear waste tanks, that would be potentially a 3-state disaster. So I'm very happy it wasn't one of those tanks, and I hope this is seen as a wake-up call.
Hanford's been the site of plutonium and uranium enrichment for nuclear weapons for decades, Pam.
Thanks, Jessica. Cybersecurity, the focus of an executive order signed today by President Trump.
The Russians are not our only adversary on the Internet, and the Russians are not the only people that operate in a negative way on the Internet. The Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, other nation states are motivated to use cyber capacity and cyber tools to attack our people and our governments and their data.
Tom Bossert with the Department of Homeland Security. The order aims to better protect critical infrastructure and improve the network security of government agencies. Heads are coming together as the nation confronts the opioid addiction epidemic. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says too many doctors are prescribing painkillers.
The day that we can allow abused prescriptions to addict people, particularly young people, athletes, and others, leading them then into heroin, is got to end and will end.
The Attorney General at a conference in West Virginia. The heroin epidemic is driving up cases of hepatitis C, according to federal health officials who say the number of reported infections nearly tripled in 5 years. Pam Puso, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or you can visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight gets a little chilly, a low of 45 degrees. Friday mostly sunny though. Clears up 70 for your high, 44 your low. Beautiful couple days ahead for the weekend. Saturday, high 76, mostly sunny, a low of 53. Right now, mostly cloudy, 64 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner, and we are live at Bunny's Tavern today. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. Lately, it's been our home away from home. Of course, Bunny's Tavern, a great place to come. We are outside. Yes, it's a little cool, but it's not that bad. Bundle up, come out. I've got shorts on, of course. Shorts and a pullover, but we are out here, and we'll be here until 6 o'clock. We're going to talk about Bunny's Bash for MDA 2017. That is coming up this Saturday, May 13. It all starts around 4 o'clock. I know 90's daughter will be performing at 7 o'clock, and they have tickets available. I just bought a packet of tickets, and you can win grand prize $1,000. I can handle that. Second prize, $500, and third place prize is an outdoor gas grill. Of course, the important thing is all the proceeds go to help the local MDA, all donations and money, the local and the Central Illinois, MDA summer camp. And, of course, they'll have a live auction. Randy McCormick will be here, and he's going to join us at 5:05 to get us up to speed on what they're doing here at Bunny's this weekend.
It's always a great event, and we're always happy to be here. Phenomenal food at Bunny's Tavern. And we got a busy show for you today. Chris Raby, KMOX, and the Cardinals broadcast team does pre- and post-game. He'll join us at 3:25. Those Cardinals, first-place Cardinals, really on fire.
We're starting to have hashtag Cardinals problems because I've got buddies texting me like, what are they going to do with Sierra? What are they going to do with Pham? What happens when Piscotty gets back? What happens when Fowler's ready to play? And I'm like, I don't know. These are hashtag Cardinals problems.
We'll also talk Illini. It's a big day today as they're hosting two grad transfers who could be starters for this team. Mark Allstork, who's from Wright State, averaged 19 points a game, and Akoya Gao out of Georgetown, originally a top 100 recruit that committed to Louisville and went there for a year. He's on campus as well. I think they're going to sell both these guys as kind of the missing pieces of an NCAA tournament team. And sell all the minutes that Illinois has for them. They need They need a big guy, of course, a defender, and that's what a Gao is. And they could use a go-to scorer with Alstor. We'll talk about that with Derek Piper. We'll also talk some NBA playoffs with Matt Silich, our Tay and J NBA experts, at 4:40. As we got Houston and the Spurs tonight, the Celtics took a 3-2 lead. That series has been weird.
It has been
because it's been a bunch of blowouts basically in that series. One went to overtime. We'll talk to Matt about that. So we've got a lot to talk about today, but did want to get this out before we get going. The three Illini that were arrested yesterday were in Champaign County Courthouse today for their arraignment. That's Darte Lee, Zarian Holcomb, and Howard Watkins. All three, I was at the courthouse, all three were charged with one count of residential burglary and one count of aggravated robbery. Yesterday, that was armed. That got taken down a little bit, which is good news for those guys because it reportedly was a pellet gun, not a loaded gun. So that helps them a little bit. Each count, though, carries a possible penalty of 4 to 15 years in prison, a fine of $25,000, and 2 years parole. Bond for each set at $150,000, and none are allowed to leave the state until their next hearing, which for Holcomb and Lee is June 27th. Now, all of these guys from out of state, Holcomb and Lee from Texas and Watkins from Ohio, so they're all going to have to stay here. Holcomb and Lee play not guilty today. They have another court date, as I said, June 27th. Watkins' lawyer wasn't there, so they'll enter a plea tomorrow. So that's just update on that. Obviously, it's going to take a while for this process, but doesn't sound like good news for those guys.
No, I mean, a dumb move, obviously, and we talked about it the other day when you're young and you do dumb stuff, but that's really taking it a little further than a lot of us did as our dumb stuff, right, when we were young.
And apparently another detail came out where they obviously entered the room. It was an unlocked door, but somebody was sleeping in there. And they were, stealing stuff from the kid, and they took some money. But apparently Holcomb pushed the kid up against the bed or a wall or something like that. And Darte tried to defuse the situation, tried to make it a joke. joke, but then obviously they stole money.
Yes. Yes.
And that was it seemed like that was their intent. At least that's the story the state's attorney's going to go after. So they tried to play it off. Darte tried to get Zarian out of the room, but him and Watkins took off with some money. So that's the story from the state's attorney. So not a good look for those three today. And you see them on that TV screen. Yeah. You're thinking these are 18 to 19-year-old. I don't want to say kids, they're young men.
Right.
But I think they're realizing the gravity of what their decision was and how terrible of a decision.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're going to see those pictures a lot because, as you said, this takes a while to get unfolded. And I don't know anything about their legal history. Hopefully it's a clean history.
Priors.
Okay, so that's good, and I'm sure that will work in their favor with regards to reducing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and of course, Holcomb and Lee were suspended from the team already. And that's where you're thinking, all right, if this goes the way we think it's going to go, I don't think these guys are going to get a second chance at Illinois.
Agree. Totally.
You wonder with Watkins, who's just got here, first time, and my mind wanders to this is a more violent crime.
Sure.
Right? But Laurent Black.
Yep.
That was a precedent, right?
That's right.
He got 6 games. Really 4,
right.
Which seemed like a little lenient. We talked about that at the time. This crime kind of compares to that, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, maybe a little bit dumber.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems
I agree.
Seems like Laurent Black might have been trying to defend someone in his situation, but it was not a good decision by him. But Kendrick Nunn, domestic violence, they dropped the hammer and said, we're not going to stand for that.
Right.
And I think that was the right decision. I think Laurent Black could have gotten a stiffer penalty, but are they comparable, and does Whitman weigh in on that with Watkins?
I think a big thing for me would be this, and I don't know Watkins' role in all of this, but the big thing for me, it would seem that Laurent Black was more of a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing, where everything was happening, and whereas this one was thought out, you would assume, not a good plan. Whoever was in charge of that one needs to be working on their skills, but obviously not a good plan, but something that I think that will go into effect and take into effect, that Laurent was more of a kind of basically reacting. That's the perfect word.
Why you have a knife on you? Right. Is the dumb decision.
That is exactly right. So this one, on the other hand, so I'm sure that will play in a little bit more. But again, we don't know Watkins' role and everything. But unfortunately, you're associating yourself with those guys, and you were there.
Apparently, he came into the room, rummaged through the wallet. This is the state's attorney's account of this. He went through the wallet, and then money was taken.
Okay.
I don't know if it was Watkins. And then Watkins said he wasn't part of it originally. Lied, apparently, and then he admitted that he was in the room.
Well, and we'll kind of keep you up to speed on that, but that'll be a while as we go along with those three, and then we'll find out what Lovie Smith will do. Now, I don't know. Obviously, Lovie can't do anything until everything plays out.
I think he's got an idea of what he'll do.
Sure.
It's apparent, reported by the News-Gazette that they went to the football office that morning. They were summoned to the football office, so I'm sure he had a talk with them, and they probably know what's on the line here, and Lovie Smith probably has a good idea. I'm sure Josh Whitman has a good idea of where they're going with this. But when you're trying to get past all this stuff, I'm sure Josh Whitman and Lovie Smith are furious, especially, after everything Illinois' been through, and then you're trying to have some positivity around this program.
Absolutely.
Just talking to Illini fans, they're just embarrassed again. And it's not that this is going to continue to happen, but it's like, this had to happen yet again at Illinois.
And it's unfortunate because as we talk, this happens everywhere, especially in college football, when you've got so many kids on your roster and all across the country. But it's one of Lovie Smith's first black marks, if you will, as a head coach with regards to any kind of legal trouble. So now you look at it like that, and unfortunately it's a blemish now on that record, whether or not he obviously didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, one of his recruits.
Yes.
Howard Watkins. But how much does a coach play into this? We had this conversation with John Gross.
Right.
But John Gross had a trend.
Sure. Right.
He had, 4 kids, getting into legal trouble. 3 were found guilty of something or pled guilty or, pled down these things. So that was a trend. Lovie Smith has 1 on his.
Exactly. And that's where you hope there's not another one. Yeah. But obviously that's the first one. And then you're kind of on the watch, if you will, with regards to that because it's stuff you just can't obviously put up with.
And then the big news for basketball today is you got a couple visitors that have a huge role, I think, next year if they want it. And I love Illinois' sell to these kids. Mark Allstork from Wright State, 6'5", averaged 19 points a game last year. Not the most efficient player, because on that team he had to be more of a chucker. But his offensive efficiency not as high. But obviously the production was there. He's a good 3-point shooter. And Illinois needs a go-to guy because even though we love Mark Smith coming in here and he's going to play a big role, do you want him to be the go-to scorer right away? Is JCL really that guy?
Right.
To be a go-to scorer? I don't think so. I think Finke's going to be a very good player this year. I think he's going to produce a lot this year. Agree. But I don't think he's a go-to guy. No. You need somebody you can get the ball to, and he's going to get a bucket. Maybe Mark Smith can develop to that, but as a freshman, that's a lot to ask of him, and that's why they're going so hard after Mark Allstork. And I think the sell is it's what happened with Jeffrey Carroll down at Oklahoma State. Jeffrey Carroll under Travis Ford averaged 6 points a game as a redshirt sophomore. Under Brad Underwood in that system, averaged 17. And now he's an NBA prospect going into his senior year.
Well, and I think Allstork, like you said, the other sell is Malcolm Hill's gone. There's a lot of shots right now in this offense if you want them. And like you said, that's asking a lot for a kid like Mark Smith to come right in. Now, JCL, I assume, will get about the same amount of shots next year. Tijon, I just don't see him as a guy that really wants to explode that much on offense, but he's going to do his job, which is to distribute. And I think he'll do a fine job with that.
It feels like you got a bunch of guys who are going to average 10 points a game.
Yeah. Which would be great with me because when you go back,
I think you need like a go-to guy.
No doubt.
At some point,
there's no doubt.
Finke, I can see scoring double digits. Yep. I can see LaRon Black averaging. I don't think they all will.
No.
But I think you have a bunch of guys who are capable of that. JCL, I think he is obviously can be a double-digit scorer. Tijon, I think he can be that. Mark Smith, maybe he can be that. Do you have a guy who can get 20 on a night you need him to get 20? I don't know if there's a guy I think can create by himself like that. Maybe it's Mark Smith, but I don't think Finke, JCL, Black are those kind of players.
Kids progress as they get older, and JCL still has not had that healthy offseason yet. And I'm anxious to see if that kind of pushes him and elevates him to another level with regards to shooting and scoring. But, no, on this roster right now, I would say no.
That's my thing with JCL. Maybe he'll get that attack the basket game. I don't know if he will.
You're not.
I think he's an elite shooter.
Yes.
And it's okay to be that role. I think that's where Mark Smith, you're like, okay, that guy can create. He can do it himself. Tijon's is not a good enough scorer.
Not at all.
That's fine, though.
Yeah, right.
Trent Frazier maybe eventually can be that kind of guy, but I think he's a little bit more versatile than JCL, but that's where you want a guy like Allstork who can score at all levels.
And I had a thought about JCL the other day. You're right about the all of a sudden becoming a guy that slashes and gets to the rim. That's not him. I just don't think it is him. And you're asking a lot, and you better be one of the best shooters in the country if you're going to be a guy that's averaging over 15 or so a game. Now, it's easy to fill it up with 3 or 4 threes. All of a sudden, that's 12 points. And JCL can do that.
There'll be plenty of those nights.
And there'll be plenty of those
Especially
nights.
in this offense when you're shooting within 7 seconds. I think he's great in transition.
And don't forget, he's got playmakers now to get him the ball. Whereas last year, really his whole career until the second half of last season, he didn't have a guy that would do that would create, would penetrate, and kick. And I think JCL is the kid. I think of all kids on this roster, if I'm JCL, I'm walking around with a smile on my face because I know my role.
See, I think it's Finke.
Well, that's true, and that's true. There's an argument for both. There's no doubt. But for JCL, you're walking around saying, all right, I'm going to play my role. I'm going to be stationed right behind that three-point line somewhere, and now I've got guys like Tijon. I've got guys like Mark Smith. I've got Trent Frazier. If DeMonte's healthy enough to play, guys that can penetrate, kick to me, and I'll have wide-open threes. But again, you're asking a lot to be consistently good shooting every night, and that's where Allstork, I think, would come in because I think he would be the guy that you could probably lean on to say, all right, you're the guy that needs to get the buckets. However, you have to caution yourself from going from the horizon to the Big Ten. That's a big jump.
Yes.
Even for a kid that would be a fifth-year guy.
A couple levels.
That's
there.
A couple levels. Even for a guy that is a fifth-year, you like that. You like the fact that he has the experience, but you're going to ask, he's not going to come here and average 19 a game. If he does, wonderful.
I love your sell.
I do too.
South Carolina just got a commit from Justin Minaya, who Illinois had offered. So they're full.
Okay, good.
And that seemed like one of their top competitors. Louisville is also involved in this, a couple other schools as well. But I like Illinois' excel in this.
I do too.
We'll talk about that with Derek Piper.
And Pipes only gave him a 4 out of 10 with a chance to come here.
Premium info out there, man.
Oh, no. See, I just stole. Am I one of those guys
that's
now?
Pretty good out of 5 teams, though.
Well, I see.
Yeah,
so I misread
5
it.
teams.
I misread it. I thought he was like 1 through 10. What are the chances of this? Okay, that's my bad on both accounts. But, yeah, I think this is a kid that would obviously fit. And I want to ask you how important each one of these are once we talk about Agao.
Yeah.
But which one would be more important?
That's what I was going to ask you, actually.
Okay.
What do you need more, the go-to scorer or the post defender?
Boy, that's hard. That's a hard question. I think you've got guys that can score, but you don't have what we just regurgitated for 5 minutes. You don't have the guy I don't feel, and you're asking a lot for Mark Smith or Trent Frazier to be that guy. I don't think JCL is that guy, and you understand down low, and that worries me, especially defense.
I think
defense scares the you-know-what out of me.
I think the post defender is the bigger need.
Okay.
Give me All-Star because he's a better player.
Good call.
Agao averaged, 4 and 4?
Yep.
Last year
true.
at Georgetown. I think he could fill a need, the Sam McLaurin kind of role. But if I'm Illinois, I think you want both, and obviously they're going for both. And I think they set the visits for the same day to kind of make the pitch to these guys. You can start this. Look at the roles you can have.
Look how you would complete this team.
And you can make us an NCAA tournament team year one, and then we can take off, and you guys would have a huge role. But both are huge roles, and you want both of them. But from a fan's perspective, it's almost like, give me the score. Let's just go nuts next year.
Exactly.
Let's just go nuts next year as a scoring team, average 80 points a game.
You sold me.
Right?
You sold me.
I mean, just from a gal actually might get you more wins, but All-Stork would be really fun to watch.
And what's funny, the other funny part about this, I don't think All-Stork's scared at all about this roster, about him coming in and producing, but if there's one guy that would look at this roster and say, man, I could get some minutes, it's a gal. Yeah. Now, I know All-Stark would get plenty of minutes, and he knows that, and so does the Illini coaching staff. But if you're a gal and you look at this and you're saying to yourself, all right, underneath, essentially, you have 2 guys with Michael Finke, and you've got, of course, LaRon Black. Neither one are defensive stalwarts.
I had to make a depth chart today for the thing I did.
I bet it went quick.
I had Finke and Black at 5.
Right.
And then Black and Nichols at the 4.
Wow.
Do you have to put Mark Smith at the 4 sometimes?
You may have to. I mean, that's the scary part. And, of course, All-Stork at 6'5" as well. You just kind of have a few tweeners, but I'm not scared of that. And I know a lot of it is just the impression of Brad Underwood's offense. And
it's more who you can defend.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. I'm scared to death
when I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's more about who they guard. Because in this offense, you're going to have basically 4 guys who are on the perimeter and
Correct.
1 in.
Who you got? Right? That's what it is. Who you got?
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that. Derek Piper at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. But coming up next, we'll talk with Chris Raby, KMOX, about those red-hot Cardinals. If you want to weigh in, you can. You can text us on the Cheap Hour text line at 217-359-2255. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. You can download the WSJK app. You can get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us in iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. I think we have Jack Long back interning and Rob Stone.
Yes, Rob's at the board. I love it. We got a lot to do today. Chris Raby, how about those red-hot Cardinals? First place in the NL Central. Cubbies coming to town. Should be a fun weekend down in St. Louis. We'll visit with Chris Raby from KMOX next. We are live at Bunny's. It is the Tay and J Show.
Your four-legged friends need protection too. Pet insurance from Pekin Insurance covers cats and dogs at least 6 weeks of age or older as an enhancement to your homeowner's coverage. Choose between $2,500 or $5,000 worth of coverage for a variety of pet health services. You can even take your pet to the veterinarian of your choice. Learn more at PekinInsurance.com or ask your local agent about how to protect your furry family members. For pet insurance that is beyond the expected, contact Pekin Insurance today.
It's warming up around Champaign-Urbana, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing, plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through May and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
DP Dough is the original Calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original Calzone company. Bunny's Tavern is your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs. Nothing beats watching baseball over an ice-cold beer, so enjoy $13.50 mix-and-match domestic buckets and $6 PBR pitchers 7 days a week. You'll catch every minute of Cubs action on Bunny's 10 big-screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the largest heated patio in Urbana. So come check out what people in Champaign-Urbana have been whispering about for over 75 years. Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana, your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Latte, Jeremy Warner. We are live at Bunny's Tavern. They're getting ready this weekend for the Bunny's Bash for MDA 2017. We'll fill you in on that as the day progresses, but that'll be Saturday starting at 4 o'clock. 90's Daughter will be performing at 7 o'clock. A great cause. Come out to Bunny's Tavern and help out.
A little bit of news. Jennifer Langosh of MLB.com reported this. Per St. Louis Cardinals spokesperson, the team is skipping Michael Wacha this time through the rotation just to give him a little extra rest.
Okay. That scared me when you said that. I came out from
smart with Michael Wacha.
Amen, and that's exactly what you should do and should be with that kid going along. All right, it is time to hit the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line, and we welcome in from KMOX, Chris Raby. Chris, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We are good. We're on location, having a good time today, getting ready for a charity event coming up this weekend. Let's start with Michael Wacha and that news, Chris. I don't think anybody would disagree with the fact that it's a smart move to maybe do that for Mike.
Yeah, especially with a couple of off days next week. If you think about it, if you skip him this weekend and push him back, then you've got 2 off days next week and an off day on May 22nd. You're really maybe almost buying him an extra 4 or 5 days when all is said and done. I think this is something that the Cardinals wanted to be proactive about. We haven't heard anything that would give us reason to be suspicious that it's anything other than just a little bit of extra rest. So I think it's a good move. I think that, one of the things that we've talked about is that even when you feel good and even when his shoulder has felt good, you have to be cognizant of the fact that this is more than likely something that he's just going to have to continue to deal with. That's the way it's been for Brandon McCarthy, which is the one kind of comp that we have to this relatively unknown injury and unknown issue. So, why not with the way that the schedule is set up and, the off day today, an off day on the 15th, an off day a week from today, and then an off day a week from Monday, try to take advantage and keep him fresh because he's certainly been really good so far this year.
I have never been a big Mike Leake fan, but boy, Chris, he started off the season really, really well. What have you seen from him that is sustainable the rest of the way?
Well, it's two things. It's efficiency and it's location. And we saw it last year during spring, and we saw it again this year during spring, and it obviously didn't really translate last year in terms of from spring to the regular season, but he works really, really fast, which the defense likes, and which keeps his defense involved. And, last year and this year during the spring, the defense was doing a good job behind him. The defense is doing a good job behind him right now, obviously, because, his ERA and his fielding independent are pretty close, but it's just efficiency and then it's location. When he's able to locate, when he's able to stay down in the zone, he's not giving up a whole lot of hard contact. His ground ball rate is above 50 right now, so he's getting, more than 50% ground balls. He's making guys put the ball into play. He's never been one that walks very many. He's walking like 1.5 guys per 9 innings right now, which is phenomenal. It's one of the best marks in all of baseball. And, when you can do that and when you can force guys to put the ball in play and the defense is behind you, that's going to result in not a lot of base runners and hopefully a lot of outs. And even though the Cardinals defense has certainly been shaky at times this year, over the last couple of weeks, they're kind of right in the middle of the pack in the National League, and hopefully the best is yet to come. But, yeah, he's been great, and he's just been, I think, obviously a little bit better than what you hoped for, but certainly better than last year and certainly a lot closer to the guy that I think they were excited about signing last offseason.
The season started 3-9 for the Cardinals. They're now 19-14 with a game lead on, look at these Cincinnati Reds,
No doubt.
game and a half on the Milwaukee Brewers, and in fourth place was the 500 Chicago Cubs. I know Cardinals fans loving that for now.
A little bit.
But you mentioned defense. Is that the key, or what else has been the key to this kind of, different looking team than the first 12 games?
Well, I think it's the defense and it's the rotation. Those two go hand in hand. Obviously, when you're pitching well and you've got good defense behind you, good things are going to happen, and you're going to allow the offense to do what they do. Last year, I think when the defense was so bad and the rotation and some of the pitching was spotty, it's why the Cardinals were losing a lot of one-run games, because you just couldn't afford to give up that extra out in the inning, that extra run, earned or unearned over the course of the game, and they've kind of tightened that up. The last couple of nights kind of reminded me a little bit of last year when they dug themselves into a hole and had to come back, but I think it's a good sign. I don't try to psychoanalyze too much, but you had won the first 4 games of a road trip. You were coming home, and you were still able to fight back and win those last couple of games. So I always think in baseball, guys, you're never as bad as your worst stretches, like those first 12 games, and you're probably, unless you're the Cubs of last year, never as good as your best stretches. So, they've won 16 out of their last 21. I don't know if you can extrapolate that out to a 95-win team the rest of the year. But I also think, as I think you and I talked about, and we talked about the first week or two of the season, they weren't as bad as that 3-9 start. So I think this is kind of what you envisioned, a great starting rotation, a rotation that could deal with the loss of an Alex Reyes, a team that can score runs in bunches. Hopefully, though, a lot of the home runs and a lot of the extra base hits from last year have guys from the top of the order and have some of the on-base percentage punch on base in front of the guys driving them in, and then a bullpen that has been a little up and down, especially considering Brett Cecil, but has been a really important part of these last 6 wins. So, I don't know if, to answer your question, I can pinpoint one thing, but it's just been a complete team. It was a team last year that dealt with injuries and was still one game out of the playoffs. You added to the roster. You added a dynamic player in Dexter Fowler. You got a couple of guys back healthy, and I think 19-14 is kind of where, if you ask them through this road trip with the Cubs looming this weekend before the season, they'd be happy being. So this is going to be a huge homestand, especially considering how kind of muddled the division is right now, and how every game I think in the National League wildcard race is going to be important. So they put themselves in a good position now with some days off coming back home.
We never take it for granted. We always enjoy Chris Raby, KMOX Sports, being able to join us here on the Tay and J Show. Lon Tay, Jeremy Werner. A few years ago, my buddy Jeremy here, Chris, tagged it #Cardinals Problems, which was basically a sarcastic nod to the fact that they have so much depth always, and whoever they bring up seems to work. And here we go again with Maggie Sierra and, of course, Tommy Pham, who we've seen in the past. And now I've got a bunch of buddies now coming at me saying, what's going to happen to Sierra now? What's going to happen to Pham when Piscotty gets healthy and Dexter can play? I mean, how is this going to sort out, Chris?
You guys have real problems.
We do. I mean, this is stuff I don't sleep at night. I kid. Chris, I mean, what is the thing? I mean, you love what Pham has done, obviously, and you love the boost and what Sierra can give you. How do they figure this roster out eventually?
Well, Dexter Fowler will hopefully be back in center field as early as tomorrow night. They felt good about the work he's been getting in and haven't really needed to push him. And Magneuris Sierra at some point is going to be returned to the minor leagues. I think that, his ceiling is that of a star player and a future potential all-star, and the club recognizes that, and they recognize, I think, and feel fortunate probably about the boost that he's given them over the last few games. But he's still a guy who has only played a handful of games above low A ball. So I think that to keep him at the big league level, if you relegate him to a late-inning defensive replacement, to pinch runner, I think that that's probably underutilizing his talents, at least for now. It doesn't mean that at the end of the year he can't come back up and do that and potentially do more for you, but I think that he needs to see regular at-bats and he needs to work on his base stealing too, I think. Like, he's not an automatic base steal right now. So I think there are a lot of areas that they want him to get better in, that he needs to get better at. That doesn't mean that he couldn't come back up again this year if they needed him, especially because of the kind of machinations of the 40-man roster and where he fits compared to a guy like Harrison Bader. But, as for right now, I think that you're really pleased with what he's given you over the last week. If you need him to remain on the roster for the next week or for this homestand, then maybe you do that, and maybe the fans at Busch get a little taste of him. But I don't think there will be much second-guessing about sending him back down to the minors. Again, nothing against him or about what he's brought to the table. It's just that I think that it really limits him and his skill set if you keep him up right now and are just trying to relegate him and to a part-time role and trying to fit him in to a spot that might not necessarily be there. As far as Tommy Pham, I think he's kind of the ultimate luxury. I think that it's not only Steven Piscotty and Jose Martinez, but Johnny Peralta. It figures into the mix as well, because Peralta is going to be ready to come back here at some point. So there are going to have to be some decisions that are made. And while Pham has been great, and he's been great over the last week, I don't see him playing over Piscotty, and I don't see him playing over Randall Grichuk. So if that means you keep him up while Jose Martinez is still on the disabled list, I think there's a little bit of unknown with that injury. We know that the groin injuries can be really, really bad. It was, I believe, a groin injury for Matt Adams a couple of years ago that kept him out for quite some time. So, I think there's still a spot for Pham right now, but, again, at some point, you just kind of get down to the roster squeeze of at-bats. And Jose Martinez outplayed Tommy Pham in spring training, and I think that when Jose Martinez is healthy, he'll slide back into his role on the big club that he earned and that he probably won't lose due to injury.
Last one for you, Chris. Colton Wong. Nice first month in a week for him. We've kind of been waiting for him to settle into what kind of role he is. It always felt like, is he going to be this number 2 contact hitter, or is he going to be the swing for the fences guy? I mean, he had so much pop when he came up. Felt like he bought into that a little bit. Are we seeing him settle into what he is as a major league player?
Yeah, I think so. And I think a big part of that was where he was hitting. He was kind of down in the 8-hole and started to have some success. I think his story is a lot like a lot of the roster. He started to go as the team started to go, and that's probably why the team started to go. He's been good moving up and being at the top of the order over the last few games, and I think a lot of it is just aggressiveness. It's aggressiveness at the plate, it's aggressiveness on the base paths, and it's aggressiveness in the field. He's such a naturally gifted player that, I think when he kind of just lets instinct takes over and when he feels comfortable letting that instinct take over, not worry about a strikeout and take that out into the field with you, not worry about making an error and, be thinking in the field about whether you're going to be in the lineup the next day. I think that's done wonders for him, just like it did for Randall Grichuk last year. So, yeah, we've seen him be really good, and we've seen a really good version of Colton Wong, over this small sample over the last few weeks when the club has been playing really well. So I think they're happy with where Colton is. I think that tomorrow, if Dexter does come back, he will go to the top of the order, and Wong will probably slide back down to that familiar 8 spot. I think that's fine with him. And, I think that, it's not just at the plate, but defensively he's been a big part of the reason why the club has been having so much success.
Chris Raby, always full of information. We always appreciate your time, my friend. KMOX, check him out. You can hear him on the pregame and postgame right here on ESPN 93.5. Chris, thank you so much.
Anytime, guys. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, buddy. Chris Raby does a great job. Of course, he took over the role of Kevin Wheeler. Kevin, of course, still joins us from 101 ESPN in St. Louis. We got that market cornered. And, of course, with Claves every other Monday. It's hard to beat the Claves Lounge for sure. It is amazing where you can look at this Cardinals team right now.
Yeah.
There are still holes. There's still
sure.
that number 4 spot, and I know Jed Jerko has been unbelievable. What do you do now when Peralta comes back? I think even Johnny Peralta said, I'm fine coming off the bench. I understand right now that Jed Jerko
is making $16 million.
Exactly. He's fine with that. But I think with regards to that, really the only issue you have right now is that left side in the bullpen. Now, Segras did well last night. But certainly Brett Cecil has not been good, and you're paying him a lot of money. He was a big, big free agent get for the Cardinals.
A lot of volatility with those relievers.
No doubt.
Sometimes.
No doubt.
You know, if he's good, if he's 3 ERA good the rest of the year.
That'd be great.
The ERA at the end of the year might not look great, but, I mean, that's kind of what you are paying him for. But this is an interesting NL Central, I tell you.
It is.
Because if you look at the run differential, the Pirates by far the worst team at -33, Cubs at +8, Brewers, that offense is
no doubt
really good, +15, Cincinnati Reds +18, Cardinals +13.
Unreal.
So those 4 teams are really even. And who would have thought the Reds and Brewers at this point? I do expect their pitching to kind of go down, but their young pitchers have pitched well so far. I mean, I think the Cubs will come up, but I think the Cardinals, you're exactly where you want to be. I mean, if I would have given you 19 and 14 before the season, you take it.
I'd take it in a heartbeat. And I think when July rolls around, you're going to know it's the Cardinals and Cubs battling for this, and still the Cubs being the favorite to win the Central. I think the Reds pitching will slow a little bit. And, of course, the Brewers are probably going to be sellers this year with Ryan Braun. And how long can Thames go and do what he's doing? Eric Thames, I mean, he's been unbelievable. But
I think he's legit as a power hitter.
I do, too.
And he gets on base a lot. So I think that was a great move. I mean, a lot of people that Sabermetrics, they loved him. The projections of him coming into the season. So it might be a surprise for a lot of people, but some people, the numbers pushers were kind of saying, hey, this guy could be pretty good in the middle of that lineup right away for about $4 million a year.
Unbelievable. And then you look at the Cubbies, of course, in 4th place at 17-17. Is one person freaking out about that?
Some Cubs fans are probably like, we need to be better.
We need to be better on that back end of the rotation. There's no doubt.
Again, Flag Day.
Yes.
But where are we at a Flag Day? And Arrieta's giving you some concern that he's not the ace, and that was a big question.
No doubt.
Coming into the season. Can he continue to be an ace? I don't think he's quite that, but I still think he could be a really good number 2 for this team. But, Hendricks, looking better.
Right.
Looking better.
Pitched pretty well yesterday.
Middle rotation guy. I think he's settling into that rather than having 3 aces. But, yes, that back end of the rotation with Lackey, had one good game, needs to give you another one. I feel comfortable with those 4 guys. You need to find a 5th guy. If you want to be put yourself in that World Series contention yet again, I think you need to find another starter, and they'll definitely be looking for it. You trust these guys at this point.
You totally do. Isn't it fun, too, to think, and it's way early to think about this, but trade deadline stuff. It's always fun for me
of course.
To look forward. And so take it from the Cardinals real quick. What could you add if you're the Cardinals? Maybe you hope that left side of the bullpen gets settled. I think everything else in that bullpen would be fine. Maybe another arm if you needed it. Maybe a power hitter. If somebody was out there and you think you could make a deal and get a guy that would scare somebody in that lineup.
For me, that's what it's got to be, and I think it'd have to be a big move.
Yes.
Like, I don't think they're going to trade for Ryan Braun. I doubt they will. But that kind of guy.
That would be huge.
Who's a massive upgrade.
Right.
Right? Not a guy who's just like, maybe they add like a Logan Morrison kind of player just to add to their depth, but that's not what they need.
It isn't.
Right now it's probably a bullpen guy.
Right.
And that's kind of what the Cardinals always have been at the trade deadline recently, and that's a kudos to them because they have some nice pieces. But if you can get a massive upgrade over Randall Grichuk,
be huge.
Yeah, I'd love to put that next to Fowler and Piscotty in the outfield.
And then, of course, you look at the Cubs, and there's a lot of different things. You look at what they did last year, adding Aroldis Chapman, and what he did and what he meant for that team as they went on to win a World Series. You probably could use something like that, even though you like Wade Davis. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that bullpen is always one, maybe not go out and get a Chapman-like, but get somebody to shore that up. But, again, you look at that offense, everything will be fine there. It's more of the pitching. Maybe the bullpen, maybe you find a guy in that back end. I'm not sure you go crazy trying to get a number 2 guy.
Yeah, a guy you could think of, but I don't. He's not a power hitter. Is Eric Hosmer? He's not a power hitter though. Moustakas, you could put him at third,
right.
But I don't know if he's a huge upgrade over what you have there.
That's the point.
Kansas City's definitely a team that's going to be selling.
Yep.
The White Sox will, but I don't know if Jose Abreu is. Are you going to give up some big pieces
to get a guy
for Jose
like
Abreu? Because I think they like having him there.
Sure.
For Yoan Moncada. Not just because he's Cuban, but because he's a professional hitter, has a professional approach. So I don't think they're just going to sell him just to sell him. I think it would take Carson Kelly and Sierra.
On the Cardinals
like
end. There's no doubt about that. And then the Sox. You look at the Sox as a team that will be sellers, you would think. With Robertson, of course, and you've got some other guys, Frazier and such, that you could possibly sell. And
here's a guy if you want to buy extremely low.
Okay.
Because he is not playing well this year. Then you don't want the contract. Never mind. He just signed a 2-year contract. Jose Bautista.
Oh yes,
he's been terrible.
He has been bad.
And the Toronto Blue Jays have been.
And
terrible.
you wonder if a change of scenery would help a guy like that. But going from the AL to the NL scares me a little bit.
Terrible fielder too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing there, and you don't have that DH to help protect a guy like that. All right, we are live at Bunny's. Give me a second here to explain again. I'm going to do this throughout the show. This weekend, the 2017 Bunny's Bash for MDA is right here at Bunny's Tavern. It starts at 4 o'clock, and you can buy raffle tickets. I bought my packet of 6, They're $20 for 6 or 1 for $5. And the 3 prizes are $1,000 cash, $500 cash, and then a combo gas charcoal grill provided by Lowe's. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is these tickets will also enter you to win a lot of gift cards, gift certificates. They also have silent auctions for gift baskets. I do want to point out you have to be present here to win one of the gift certificates and gift cards. You do not have to be present to win the $1,500 or the grill. So you can buy your tickets. If you can't make it Saturday night, you could still win one of those 3. But if you can come out here, they're going to have 90's daughter. Jeremy, last year this event raised over $20,000, and they're shooting for over $30,000. And of course, this is all for the donations and money. They stay local and they help support the Central MDA summer camp. And like you said, the weather's going to be perfect on Saturday. It's going to be beautiful weather. So come out today, come out tomorrow, even Saturday. You still have time. Get your tickets. You're helping a great cause, and who knows, you might walk away with $1,000.
A team you would love to go downhill really quickly. Detroit Tigers. Not Miggy, J.D. Martinez.
Oh, yes.
Because he's a rental.
Yes.
But, I mean, you have to pay it. I mean, if they go down, he'd be a hefty rental. But that's the kind of player.
That dude can mash 30, 40 homers, and he'd fit right into that Cardinal lineup. I know that was the guy that they even toiled around with maybe trade talks for a guy like that. So that is another one that intrigues me right there, J.D. Martinez.
I mean, the Tigers are built to win now, but if they fall off, they're going to want to recoup some pieces.
Something to look at.
They tried to sell this offseason.
They did.
No one wanted their expensive player. So
that's the amazing
part.
That'd
be another one interesting to watch.
All right, we've got the Mettler Center injury report coming up. And, of course, next hour, Derek Piper. He's going to be here, right? At 4:05, Derek Piper coming out to join us at Bunny's Tavern. We'll talk some Illinois basketball. 2 names. Allstork and Agoy. They're both on campus today. Brad Underwood and that staff trying to lure those 2 into this roster, and I think they would help. We'll ask Derek how much they would help. We'll do that at 4:05. We are live at Randy's. That's not right. We're live at Bunny's Tavern. Excuse me. It is the Tay and J Show.
Randy coming in later.
I do.
Right?
Randy McCormick's coming in. I'm all fooled up now. It is the Tay and J Show.
Shop local. Support your community and get healthy at Urbana's Market at the Square each and every Saturday, May through November, rain or shine, from 7 to noon on the corner of Illinois and Vine in downtown Urbana.
Shop and enjoy Illinois-grown products, including meat, dairy, honey, baked goods, produce, flowers, plants, arts, crafts, and food trucks.
Market goers will also enjoy chef demos and samples on the first Thursday of each month. Make sure to check out their new website, urbanamarket.org, for info about vendors, programs, and much more.
Urbana's food truck rallies are back. Shake up your lunch routine and join in the last Tuesday of the month from April to October at the Urbana Civic Center, 108 East Water Street in downtown Urbana. Make sure you check out the City of Urbana Facebook page or visit urbanaillinois.us/foodtruck_rally for an updated list of your favorite food trucks that are participating the last Tuesday of the month through October. See you there.
Join the Prairie Lands Council for their 2017 Distinguished Citizens Dinner, this year honoring the Atkins family. Wednesday, May 17th at Stone Creek Golf Club. Don't miss this fun evening with heavy hors d'oeuvres and drinks, along with a wonderful program and awards presentation. Tickets for this event honoring 2017 Distinguished Citizens are on sale now. Support Scouting. $250 per person or $400 per couple. Buy tickets today by calling 531-0218. That's 531-0218.
The party's on. The
legendary voice of Motley Crue, Vince Neil. Performing all your favorite Motley Crue hits. Saturday night, May 20th at 8 at Effingham Performance Center. Vince Neil live. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, the UPC box office, or phone. Give it a kickstart with Vince Neil live.
This is Eric Bolin with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
2 orders of beer chili on their way at 3:55.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to get some beer chili. I'm like, that sounds pretty good.
Just get me
And then
some.
you asked me cup or bowl. And you did it right. You go bowl, Jeremy. I'm like, yes, yeah, let's go.
We're not messing around today. Live at Bunny's Tavern. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. Come join us. We're actually out on the patio. It's a little cool, I'm not going to lie to you, but nothing bad. And, of course, Bunny's Tavern inside. It's all nice and warm. A lot of the guys at the bar having a beer, and, of course, we're getting the beer chili. Nothing wrong with that.
It's time for our Mettler Center Physical Therapy Injury Report with Doctor of Physical Therapy Matthew Gordon. Matthew, Jason Hayward on the 10-day DL with a sprained finger in his right hand, just when he's starting to play really well, too. So, sprained finger. I think we've all had that in our life. What actually is a sprained finger?
So basically, the 2 terms we always hear are sprains and strains. And so basically, they're overall the same thing. It's just a matter of what tissue is getting affected. So with a sprain, you're affecting the ligaments. With a strain, you're affecting muscle and tendons. And basically what's happening is it's just an overstretch that results in some kind of damage, either an overstretching of it or an actual tearing of a portion of that ligament, tendon, or muscle.
So what is the recovery? I mean, I think of a sprained finger, and I'm like, that's not that big of a deal.
The problem is you use your hands for everything.
I was going to say, for a baseball player, this could be an issue.
Yeah, I think, anytime we talk injury, it always depends on what degree it is. First degrees, you're looking at that, week, 10 days, something like that, which that's what this one is sounding. He's already made some comments that, yeah, it's feeling pretty good. The team just wants to make sure I don't have any pain in it before I get back into it, which at this time of the season, why rush something that's this simple and have him come back, maybe a couple days early and have that not quite healed all the way and then make it into a second-degree strain or something that later on in the season could be an even worse sprain to that ligament. Second degree ones, that's where you're looking at like a couple weeks, the 3-4. But I think the biggest thing for this is the why is he even out with a grade 1 sprain if it's just a little pain. And he said it best himself. He's like, I can grip a bat, I can do almost everything, I can hit even, but I just have discomfort on the follow through of the swing. And mentally, if you have discomfort on that follow through of your swing, whether it's a golfer on the course or a baseball player, even just people here in town with their different activities, we all know pain is what changes how we do something. And the last thing you want is a hitter who starts to figure out how to hit, to have him change his mechanics because he knows every time he hits it, there's going to be pain.
But wait, it's starting to help him. So maybe Jason Hayward needed this sprained finger.
Good stuff as always from Matthew Gordon, Doctor of Physical Therapy. If an ache or pain, just like Jason Hayward, you can get a free consultation. Just go to MetlerCenter.com for more information. Always appreciate the time, Matthew.
Very welcome. Have a great day, guys.
You too, buddy. We appreciate that. Jason Hayward, of course, was starting to really hit for the Chicago Cubs after last year, which was such a frustrating season with Chicago, but somehow they got through that and still won a World Series.
Put Zobrist and Bryant in the outfield.
Right.
Baez over to third.
It is interesting. I was reading today about Rizzo scuffling a little bit underneath his certain averages. He's only hitting 218.
Schwarber
struggling. Zobrist is struggling. His on base percentage not good.
500.
And they're 500. That's the thing that's amazing.
I mean, they're going to be scary good at some point.
Yep. That's the thing.
And if not, oh well.
Well, you have one down here.
You'll get to the playoffs with 90 wins or whatever it is. You get the under, and then you go into the playoffs, and you got a chance.
It is amazing.
That's all that matters. I mean, this team is just, its ceiling is so high, and its floor is so high.
When they signed Hayward, isn't there a 3-year out?
Yeah, 3-year opt-out.
Okay, so he can opt out.
Yes.
So if he doesn't want to opt out, then the Cubs are on the hook for that entire
8 years.
Okay, wow. Which is, that could be troublesome.
He's 27 years old, but they knew
could
that.
Be an albatross.
But they got a World Series out of it.
No doubt.
If he doesn't make that speech during the rainout in Game 7,
that did it.
It was worth it right there.
Everything coming
Give them
up,
all
Cubs.
$220 million just for that, right?
Everything coming up, Cubs.
I do want to say the 10-day DL has changed a lot in baseball because Hayward would not have gone on the DL.
Okay.
If it weren't for the 10-day, which it actually helps because then you say, okay, let's get this right. And then you're not missing basically 2 weeks. You're missing a week and a half, and we get you for 5 more games.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think that's changed a lot is that they're, okay, this is a short-term thing, but let's make sure it's right. The 10-day DL has changed a lot.
And that's what Piscotty went on, of course, for the Cardinals. So I think it does make a lot of sense because I wonder, and I've never thought this in my life, if a guy goes on a 15-day DL back in the day, then
that's a tenth of a season.
Right. And you wonder at what point are they ready? Is it 10 days in and then you're just eating up 5 days of nothing?
Right.
That's why I love this, and I like the fact that both sides agreed that is a good move to do, to go to a 10-day. It allows a little flexibility, and I think it's best for the game. And that's what it should be, right? Both sides, the owners and the players, should look at what's best for the game, and no doubt that was a good move by both.
Man, I've just been sitting here looking at players you could trade for.
Jeremy's loving this.
Marcell Ozuna's having a great year, but they're not going to trade.
No.
Marlins won't trade him.
No. I love J.D. Martinez. He's a left-handed bat.
You're going to root hard against the Tigers now.
Now I'm going to. Now I want the White Sox to go. Bring Mancada up. Let's see what you got. Let's beat the Tigers. It would be interesting, though, to put a guy like J.D. Martinez in the middle of that Cardinal lineup and see what they can do, because right now, even now, the Cardinals are still hoping that little threesome of Fowler, Diaz, and Carp. Now, Carp's been unbelievable, but they're hoping those three can start getting on base with greater regularity. And if you had a guy like Martinez there to whoop, I'd be fine with that.
That'd be pretty good. The Tigers take on the L.A. Angels tonight.
Okay, come on, Pujols.
No Cubs, no Cardinals tonight. Phil Hughes and the Twins taking on Derek Holland and the White Sox.
Oh, Derek Holland, MVP, Cy Young.
There you go.
It all combined. Derek Piper coming up. He's going to join us here at Bunny's Tavern. Illinois basketball talk is next. It's the Tay and J Show.
I was just thinking the other day of how rich my life has been with simply sharing time with others. Whether with family, friends, or just a moment's greeting with a stranger. Hi, how are you? Well, now, how many of us during these sharing times have said something, done something, or hit the send button with a message that might have hurt someone or their feelings? Wouldn't it be great to have a button to push? A do-over button. Well, my best friend, Jesus Christ, offers not only the button, but the true love to forgive you of all wrongs. Simply, just reach out. He is reaching for you and inviting you to his house this Sunday. Attend church services of your choice. Jesus will guide you. We have found the Lord at Muhammad Christian Church. Jesus welcomes you to his house, and he's been expecting you.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Dan Ward, Senior Patrol Officer for the Champaign Police Department. You've just got a good read on people. You can sense the perceptive nature you have, Dan.
Thank you very much.
You love what you do.
I do. It's great. It is.
It's so fun to wake up and like what you do.
Yes.
And your family's all supportive? And
of course, yeah. My wife, Bobby, she's great. When I take off in the middle of the night for some big call, great, love you. Call me when you're done.
Right.
So
be careful. Is she apprehensive at all?
Sure. And I think she's She, like you, is very defensive.
Yeah.
I'll come home and I'll tell her a story and she'll get mad, and I'm like, honey, I'm not mad. And she'll get mad, so it's nice.
Okay, good. Okay, so my ranting and raving is okay? I mean, the police roll their eyes at me. I mean, you guys tired of me?
Never.
I'm going to do it till I'm done doing it. So
sounds good.
Dan, I really appreciate you and appreciate all that you do for Champaign Police.
Thank you very much.
Brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com.
Hey, it's me, your old AC. We need to talk, man. I am out of hair. Trust me, it's not going to get much better. I need to be replaced. Call the experts and get a new air conditioner that will save up to 50% on energy bills. Go ahead, do it. I'll be right here. Whew.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save up to $4,000 on a new home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Shop 10,000 Villages in downtown Champaign for Mother's Day this week. Jewelry makes the perfect Mother's Day gift, and 10,000 Villages has earrings, necklaces, and other jewelry that Mom will love. Plus, now through May 13th, all jewelry at 10,000 Villages is buy one, get one 50% off. Find Mom something she'll love this Mother's Day at 10,000 Villages, 105 North Walnut in downtown Champaign.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from New York, The Fox Report.
I'm Pam Puso.
Our story is consistent.
Deputy White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders as the White House continues to defend the firing of FBI Director James Comey. Parts of the White House narrative at odds with testimony from Comey's replacement, who appeared before a Senate committee. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
White House officials insist there was relief inside the FBI after the firing of former Director James Comey, despite this testimony from acting FBI Chief Andrew McCabe.
I can confidently tell you that the vast majority of FBI employees enjoyed a deep and positive connection to Director Comey.
McCabe, testifying at a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing, would not say whether or not Comey told President Trump he was not the target of an investigation about Russian election interference, a claim made by the president. Pam.
Thanks, Jared. The president reacting on Twitter a short time ago, saying that Russia must be laughing up their sleeves as the U.S. tears itself apart over a Democrat excuse for losing the election. A police standoff is over in Arkansas following 3 deadly shootings. Fox's Gurnell Scott has more live.
And Pam, Arkansas State Police have taken the alleged shooter into custody after an hours-long standoff. They believe him to be the man who shot and killed Yell County Deputy Lieutenant Kevin Mainhart and 2 others in a spree that began with a traffic stop. Arkansas State Police spokesman Bill Sadler says having Michael Bowden means the danger is over.
The arrest occurred without incident. Bowden is now a suspect in connection with the 3 homicides that occurred today.
Sadler says the hostage that was with him was released before the incident.
Thanks, Gurnell. You're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the Certified Pre-Owned Sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
One social media giant is cracking down on links that lead to annoying and deceptive advertisements. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in our West Coast bureau.
Pam, Facebook says it wants to show fewer misleading, sensational, and, as they put it, spammy sites. So they're rolling out an update to reduce clickbait. Those are sites that look good from the headline, but they end up not really delivering. They're filled with ads, and they're sometimes a cybersecurity nightmare. Company officials say the way they've identified the bad apples is by reviewing hundreds of thousands of web pages that are linked to the site, and then they use artificial intelligence to find similar pages. Their algorithm will place those lower down in people's feeds. They predict the publishers that do not engage in clickbait may actually see a slight increase in web traffic, Pam.
Thanks, Jessica. President Trump has called cybersecurity a top priority, and today he signed an executive order to bolster defenses against cyber attacks. The order also aims to better protect critical infrastructure such as the energy grid and the financial sector. Another court settlement is costing Volkswagen a lot of money.
U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer grants final approval for Volkswagen to pay over $1.2 billion to fix or buy back almost 80,000 3-liter vehicles in the U.S. Linked to the German automaker's diesel emissions cheating scandal, the judge also granted approval for a German auto parts supplier to pay VW owners almost $330 million for its role in developing the engines.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Last year, the same judge approved an almost $15 billion settlement over cheating 2-liter vehicles. On Wall Street, the Dow down 23 points to 20,919. The S&P was off 5 points. The NASDAQ also down by 13 points, which breaks a 4-day streak of record highs. In New York, I'm Pam Puso on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio.
I'm going to finish my chili.
I took that down in 2 minutes.
Like 1 minute.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at Chief Bauer. Tonight, cloudy, low of 45. Friday, mostly sunny, high 70, low of 44. Saturday, sunny as well, high 76, a low of 53. I see 80s next weekend. Right now, cloudy, 64 degrees in Champaign, Urbana.
All right, I'm trying to get guys to throw me beer here out the patio, and they're not doing it. They're being all selfish. No, I'm kidding. I can't. Dang it.
You could.
Well, I could, but I better not. Hey, it's the Tay and J Show. Lonte, Jeremy Werner. There are a lot of times we'll go places. Jupiter's The Crossing has unbelievable pizza that you and I eat and we love. There are certain things that probably people think, oh, he's just saying that because they're at that location.
Sure.
The beer chili at Bunny's Tavern. If you've never had it, and today is the perfect day to come have it.
When we talk about food at this place, it's all real. Like, I think they got their quesadillas. Tonight at 5 o'clock. For a buck
I need
each.
to find out. I need to even just find out what all they got. But everybody knows how good it is. We're live at Bunny's Tavern. We're getting you ready this Saturday, the Bunny's Bash for MDA 2017. All proceeds stay local and support the Central Illinois MDA Summer Camp. We're going to tell you as we go along how you can be a part of that and help out with that. And it's Saturday at 4 o'clock. 90's daughter starts at 7 o'clock.
We'll have Derek Piper here in a little bit, but I did want to put this out there. Had a big moment with my kid this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So every once in a while he'll take my phone.
Oh, yeah. This is why I was showing Mom.
Yeah, he'll take my phone every once in a while and just play with it.
I love it.
He started to mash a little bit on the screen and stuff like that. Well, he had my Twitter up.
Okay.
And he got to, like, the emojis and stuff, started hitting it, started hitting all the emojis, and he sent it.
Boom. Done.
I have no idea what it means.
So now 8-month-olds know how to send Twitter.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, like, zodiac signs.
Yeah, well, my mom
stuff like that.
So Mom comes into the office today, and I'm like, Mom, you got to see some pictures of Torin. And she's always kind of interested in seeing the pictures. So every time she comes in, I update her on what you guys have posted. And I said, yeah, he's already got his own Facebook page. But I said, here's the cutest thing. He tweeted out today for the first time. Now, Mom is not up on Twitter.
Right.
But she kind of gets it a little bit. And so she looks at it, and she just starts breaking it down. She's like, well, he wants this, and then she gets to the trademark signal.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what he meant by that.
He's thinking ahead.
He's trademarking this whole tweet. It was awesome, though. So Torin is now tweeting.
He's walking, now tweeting.
Are you going to get his own Twitter account? I mean, he's got his Facebook account.
No, he does not need one of those.
I just want to see Torin with one follower.
Does Andrew have a Facebook or a Twitter
He does not.
account?
No,
No
neither.
Facebook.
Lucas finally does have Facebook, but no Twitter. Oh, Lucas has Twitter.
Yeah, he's had Twitter
Yeah, you
for a
follow him, actually, which he gets a kick out of.
Yeah,
So
gotta follow Yat.
You know what I do? Yat2721. It's funny, though. I star him because I want to see what he's tweeting out.
Of course you should.
So I'm being big brother here.
Yeah, you should.
And every once in a while, he'll tweet out something at like 11:45 at night. And like the next day, I'm like, hey, maybe you ought to be in bed at 11:45.
You get the dad voice?
I do.
Lucas.
I'm like, what are you up at a quarter to midnight? Maybe this is why you're tired today.
All right.
Oh, well.
Well, that's my
Kids.
dad moment of the day.
Derek, you'll have him one day.
It's time to bring in Derek Piper. Did you get a fresh cut there, Derek?
Looks good.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, man.
Going with the show. You're going to go down to my level here? Or?
I don't know. It is pretty short on the sides. It was supposed to be like a white boy fade, but it kind of looks military right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Looks good,
a little
man.
scarier today. Well, Derek, I was at the courthouse today. You were at the courthouse a year ago, so
Yeah.
at least we're not covering. You're not covering
There
that
you
now. But big day for Illinois basketball, right?
It really is. Bringing in two guys that could impact right away. Mark Allstork is a big time scorer, 19 points per game last year at Wright State. Maybe this is lined up. You know, you give them Mike LaTulip, and for a player to be named later.
I like it.
And now it's Mark Allstork. So he's here on campus. One of his 6 visits.
Okay.
You're going to want to follow him on Snapchat for all that. He'll take you inside of all these visits. He loves the all the attention and the love.
Good for him.
A guy that can take and make shots.
Yes.
And you need that. So, and then Agao, man, they really challenge you with these
No
pronunciations.
doubt. It's
but-
getting worse.
Especially these big men.
Yeah, from Georgetown, 6'8", 235, can play some defense, high motor, rebound it. He was once a top 100 recruit going to Louisville, so played only 15 minutes per game last year, but had some value minutes. I think that he could come in right away and make an impact.
Have you noticed the social media thing? Like, 'cause a lot of these guys like to build it up.
Oh, yeah.
Does it matter? Because tweeting at recruits actually is an NCAA violation, but they can't do it. I mean, everybody does it.
Right, exactly.
So, does it matter for these kids?
Man.
You do hear – I'll interject real quick.
Yep.
You do once they're signed, like Mark Smith,
Yes.
Trent Frazier.
But like
they're
Elijah Thomas was all over Twitter.
Right, good call.
Cliff Alexander was all over Twitter.
But they seem to like when Illinois fans or fans of whatever university show them love.
Oh, they like it for sure. There are even some coaches who will say, you know, we're going to want the fan base getting hyped up for this guy because how much does it really help you? I'm not sure. Some
Probably
guys
hurts you more than anything
Yeah,
if you don't do it.
at the wrong times, I think. Some creepy guys out there. Not that Illinois has any of
No,
those.
not
but,
at all.
I know some
Yes,
fans
yes,
will
they
look
do.
too far into it and see, well, look how many likes he has for Illini tweets. Mark Smith wasn't hiding anything when he was about to decide a lot of his likes for Illinois. So sometimes you can look into it. Most times it doesn't mean all that much.
A guy like Mark Allstork. I know we went over this about a week ago when you joined us to talk about that. But now that it's a reality with him on campus and a chance to maybe get him to play for Illinois next year, how big would that be for him to be inserted into this lineup? What does he bring? Break his game down a little bit with regards to, I know he's a scorer, 19 a game at Wright State, but how big would it be?
It'd be pretty big. He's one of those bucket getters for sure. And you need in this offense a guy that can space the floor, be a spot-up shooter. You think about Trent Frazier and Tejon Lucas and Mark Smith being guys that are going to facilitate and penetrate the defense. And a guy like that to be able to kick it out to is really good in the catch and shoot. He can also make some plays off the dribble for himself. So, even late in the shot clock or late in games, you need a guy that can go get you a bucket. He's one of those guys. Obviously, he's going to have to transition from going to where there wasn't a shot that he didn't like at Wright State to now where you kind of got to play within a system. And I think some of his NBA feedback, because he was getting attention, was that you need to be able to play with other capable scorers and be able to make them better as well as yourself. So,
well, at Wright State, I mean, Mike LaTulip was like the fifth leading scorer, right?
Right.
I mean, you got to do it at a different level.
Right, he was taking shots where guys were 2 inches from his face. He made some of them, but I think that just ultimately he's a ideal scorer in an up-tempo, space-the-floor system, and you just kind of reset his mind a little bit, but I think that he's open to it. He obviously understands Brad Underwood with Jeffrey Carroll.
I mean, that's the sell right there, isn't it? Jeffrey Carroll, I mean, went from 6 points a game as a sophomore to Travis Ford to 17 and an NBA prospect under Underwood.
Yeah, absolutely. And similar skill sets, being a really good shooter, and just his efficiency numbers went up. And I think that's a big sell for Allstork, that he understands that he needs to be put in positions to be better, and he feels like Brad Underwood can definitely do that and has proven that he can do that.
Lon and I were talking about it. They need a go-to guy because it feels like, next year they got guys who can score, and in this offense they're going to find guys who can score. But, I mean, to put it all on Mark Smith to be the creator. I mean, Jalen Coleman-Lands isn't that. Like, I want him to be an elite shooter, and that's kind of what he does, and I want him to play better defense. But Finke, I think, is going to have a nice year. I think LaRon Black's going to have a nice year. I think Tijon can score a little bit. Mark Smith, I think, will be a go-to guy, but having a go-to guy would be huge for this team.
Absolutely. You need guys that can go and get their own shot. And like you mentioned with JCL, he's a guy that can be a spot-up shooter, but his off-the-dribble game hasn't really established that to this point. I think that Mark Smith can come in and do that, but he is going to be a freshman. So with Allstork, obviously a guy with a lot of experience.
Sure.
And you look around the rest of the roster, that opens things up for some of those spot-up shooters like Michael Finke when he stretches the floor. Down low for LaRon Black's cut to the basket. So you need a guy that can put the ball in his hands and make things happen for everybody else.
Follow Derek on Twitter at @DPiperScout. Were you going to ask more about Allstork?
No,
I was going to switch to Agoy. I'll ask you the same question basically that I did about Allstork. What can he give you? Now that he's on campus, I know he's also visiting other teams. It won't be an easy victory either for this coaching staff. If you do get this guy at 6'8", 235, what does it mean?
You get someone taller than the head coach, which is something that he really wants. A guy that's going to play with a high motor, obviously. You look at his stats, maybe don't jump off the page being 4-4, but we've mentioned and Jeremy's mentioned you need your Sam McLaurin. And I think that he could be that. He's a guy that has experience, that he knows how to play. He's played in against high major programs before. So he's more physically developed as well. Right. So, and he can be your best post defender, which you don't really have a great one right now. A guy that can block some shots.
Schipper, he's your best one.
Yeah.
6'5", 6'6".
Right. He runs the floor. He's a good athlete. He's not a bouncy athlete.
Okay.
He can get up and dunk. Kind of like Lon over here, but he runs the floor. He can switch off of the ball screen and guard the guard and switch back. I know that's the old Nana Agwu that you like to see. So a guy that plays with high energy, going to rebound, give you a couple putbacks here and there, and also going to play some defense. So there's a lot of value to that, and especially if you get him for 2 years. I think that in that second year he could be even better.
You know what's funny, too, real quick on this, is it's the unknown. Not that it's unknown. We've been able to watch Stephen F. Austin. We've been able to watch Oklahoma State. But for Illini fans that maybe haven't zeroed in on what Brad Underwood did defensively, I'm talking, it's kind of that unknown of, it's scary for me right now to think Finke. I love Finke offensively, don't get me wrong. And LaRon Black. I want to see how I know he can do it defensively. I know he can rebound in bunches. But it's the unknown of how really that defense is going to click. And knowing you'd have a 6'8" guy in the middle like that would help make me sleep a little bit better at night, knowing the defensive side.
Yeah, unless you're going to score 90 points a game, you're going to have to stop some people out there.
They were close at Oklahoma State last year.
No, they do that.
But you're gonna go up against some bigger guys in the Big Ten, obviously. Nick Ward at Michigan State is just an example, or Ethan Happ at Wisconsin.
You don't really six guys at Michigan State.
Right. You don't really want to think about Michael Finke being stuck on an island against those guys. So you want to be able to insert somebody that has that ability to block some shots, and he has length, really long arms to be able to move around and impact and get some stops.
That'd be well.
What's a bigger need? I mean, this isn't like who do you want more. What is a bigger need for this team, a go-to scorer or that post defender?
I think the bigger need is just a big guy in general, obviously. I think that maybe because of the level of player that Allstork is, maybe you would go with him because he is a guy that can get you double-digit points every night, maybe even 20 on any given night. So I like a Gow. I think that you do need somebody that can, once again, help you get stops, can rebound it, and they need some depth down there down low. They have guards, but they don't have go-to, create-your-own-shot type of guys.
I love the sell for both these guys. I think they're both Big Ten caliber players, obviously, but the competition's pretty stiff, isn't it?
Definitely. For Allstork, although it is good that South Carolina is filled up, I'm sure they might be able to find a way to make a spot. I know that teams find a way to do that when they're getting Justin Minaya. Louisville, they're waiting to see if Deng Adele's going to come back, although they're expecting him to come back. I know Rick Pitino came out and said that if they do get him back, they may not use that other scholarship. That would be good because when Louisville's not in the mix, that obviously helps you. Yeah. Pittsburgh lost a ton, and that was his first visit. LSU, bad team. Will Wade's going into that situation. Those situations for him would be places he could get shots. But really, what else do they have to sell? I think Georgetown is one to watch for because, like it or not, All-Star's thinking a lot about the NBA. And Georgetown, obviously in D.C., that's an NBA city with an NBA coach who's coached in the NBA as well. So, and then with Agao, SMU is a big-time player. Yep. They lose Ben Moore, who played over 30 minutes per game last year. They need somebody who can come in and rebound. So I think that's kind of Illinois' biggest competition with them.
If not them, what other grad transfers are out there?
It's a great question.
Because you need at least one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you need at least one, hopefully, in the post.
I mean, somebody's got to play if you're in foul trouble, right?
Right.
Right now, you got nobody for that.
9 guys on scholarship.
There's Roselle Nix from Pittsburgh, who's 6'11", 300 pounds, although he's not going to graduate from there until August. So you kind of have to wait. You wouldn't get to come onto your campus during the summer, which is a negative, obviously, especially with the new system. And when you see his body, you would kind of want him to spend a little bit more time with Fletch.
Yeah.
But he would maybe be a late last-ditch option. And there's still, with graduation coming up, you hear around the circuit, there's some guys who haven't told their coach yet they're leaving.
Football's the same way.
Yeah, sure.
They're expecting football guys to come open in like June. So it's like, wow.
So we'll see. Maybe a couple names.
Is this staff, they're not going to panic right now, are they? I mean, I think Illinois fans understand that this is, Underwood's here for a long time. They understand what was left. They understand who, with Tillman. Oh, by the way, Jeremiah Tillman. I wasn't even going to bring the name up.
We'll bring it up here in a second.
We'll bring it up. But they're not in a panic, I guess. But yet, I could see how you would have to be a little bit of thinking to yourself, we got 9 stinking guys right now.
Yeah, you're sitting in May and you have 4 open scholarships. That does make you a little bit uneasy.
Yes.
And obviously there's a bigger plan. This is a bigger picture in bringing in Brad Underwood in terms of where this program's going to go and what they're building. And he doesn't want to reach, especially on multi-year guys, 4-year guys that maybe aren't ready for the Big Ten. But at the same time, I don't think he wants to break his trend of the fact that he's gone and won wherever he's at.
No doubt.
They want to find a way to win. They need to get players. They know that. So I think there's a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, they understand the big picture and where they're trying to go.
Enough.
When we come back, let's talk about JT.
Okay.
Not Justin Timberlake.
JD Martinez
no,
for
JT.
the Cardinals?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that. We could break that up. We could do that.
Cards are hot.
We'll talk about that, other 2017 prep options. Then we can talk about 2018 and beyond a little bit as well. Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com here at the Tay and J Show. We're live at Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana.
And ESPN Radio Mike and Mike. Extra Point.
The biggest night ever for DC sport. In the end, it proved highly forgettable for the fans in the nation's capital. Hometown hockey team shut out on their own ice, while the Wizards might just as well have not bothered traveling to Boston for the way they competed.
As far as basketball is concerned, everybody thinks there's that brick wall called LeBron James that even though Washington can look good at times, especially with that backcourt, if they can't even get by this hump, aren't going to get by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then with the Capitals, I mean, at some point, when do you throw up your hands and say, okay, regular season, great, ain't getting us a thing, so we're the champions of the regular season, but that doesn't mean anything if you can't take it anywhere, and they haven't been able to do that. So I know a lot of hopes, if you ask people, would probably say it's the Nationals, but that's the hardest one. We're talking about the playoffs, the least amount to try and actually get to the championship of that sport.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
It's time for breakfast at Burger King.
Remember at Burger King, I got the 3 for 89-cent pancake deal?
Yeah.
I tried to take one.
But they're 89 cents.
Yeah.
You can spare one.
I understand, but you know what I said.
Well, you said respect the stack.
And did you?
No, because I like pancakes. Respect that stack. Get 3 pancakes for just 89 cents. That's 3 fluffy golden pancakes for 89 cents now at Burger King. Here's another great breakfast deal. 2 croissant sandwiches for just $4. Only at Burger King. Limited time at participating Burger King restaurants.
The best time to save money is now and later. Do both at the Home Depot when you get 15% off select special order windows and doors, and even installed windows. Saving 15% immediately is great. Saving money for years to come on your energy bill is even better. Upgrade the way your home looks, feels, and saves with 15% off select windows and doors. Only At the Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Valid through May 17th. Installed windows available in select markets only. See store for details.
From buyers and sellers inspections before the sale, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. We also provide radon testing with results back in 48 hours. From Champaign to Savoy and Gifford to Gibson City, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. Get more details and schedule your inspection today at aamarshall.net.
Exciting indoor football is back Saturday, May 20th with the Bloomington Edge indoor football team at the Coliseum in Bloomington. Saturday, May 20th, head to Bloomington to see the Bloomington Edge take on Liberty at 1:05 p.m. Buy your tickets now at bloomingtonedge.net. May 20th is Education Day, and the Bloomington Edge will attempt to set a state record for the biggest game of musical chairs at halftime with kids 12 and under. They'll also be honoring distinguished officers from the Department of Corrections and saluting athletes from Special Olympics of Illinois. Don't miss this game. Buy your tickets at bloomingtonedge.net or call 484-840-EDGE.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner, live at Bunny's Tavern. We're going to get you ready for the Bunny's Bash for MDA 2017. That is Saturday at 4 o'clock. 90's Daughter will play at 7 that night.
And they have a silent auction.
Yes.
And I was just told they'll have a Lovie Smith signed football,
Nice.
Brad Underwood signed basketball.
And a Derek Piper signed microphone.
There you go.
Would that be right?
Laptop.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be great. They've got a lot of gifts, and, of course, you can buy your tickets. I bought mine. Chance to win a grand prize, $1,000. So come out and support the MDA. Last year, raised over $20,000, hoping to raise over $30,000 this year.
Derek, I don't know if this is still the number one question you get. Mm-hmm. Where's Jeremiah Tillman going?
Who's that?
Like, what? This is. I mean, he's keeping us he's keeping us in suspense this entire time, man, for a year and a half.
Is anybody tired of this one yet?
Oh, yeah, I was tired of this one a year ago.
Is this honestly a family? I don't mean to barge into somebody's family, but I know that his mom really covets Illinois, right? She loves and would love for him to come to Illinois.
Yes.
Is it just simply, and I know we don't know, but could it just simply be the fact that we've got one side of that family that wants this strongly, and who goes against mom, and then you've got another side that says, no, we want something different?
Yes, I think you have parents on different sides. I think you have other people around him who have always been chirping different things in his ear.
Right. Right.
And, people have their own interests, unfortunately, and they don't necessarily let the kid do what he wants to do. So I think this thing got complicated there. And with the coaching change, it gave him an opportunity to get out. And I think that, Missouri was talking around to people. They weren't allowed to talk to him. Wink, wink. But, so it really got complicated. And since then, he's kind of gone off the radar. I know he got overwhelmed by everything. Kansas was talking to him. North Carolina put in a call. Missouri had a in-home visit. Mom still would like him to go to Illinois. But Illinois is not really going to bang down his door. That's not really how they're going to operate. In their mind, what else are they going to say? What else are they going to sell him on? Hey, this is how we're going to use you. Like we haven't talked to you about this before.
There's not another university in the country that needs you more.
If I'm Illinois, and it's like, hey, if you want to come here, you come talk to us.
Correct.
We'll talk about it. It's where you're going to be a part of this program. Like, you can't just sit down and beg them.
I agree with you.
At this point, so Illinois fans are like, are they still going to get him? He'd be a perfect fit.
Yes, he
would be a perfect fit.
Yes,
but like you said, Derek, there's nothing more they can do in this thing. I mean, they've done this thing right the entire time.
Yeah, they can't really do anything more, and obviously not going to push too far. If he wants to be here, he wants to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he's a good fit. They got Mark Smith, so I feel like, you get him, and if you were able to get JT, all of a sudden the future's even brighter, maybe able to win right away even more. So, but it's funny. I heard a couple of days ago where I had heard that Tillman might wait until he graduates high school to want to do anything. He could just. I joked around with somebody. I was like, he might just show up on somebody's campus in June, and that kind of might be it. But,
that would be interesting.
Who knows? Who knows, man?
Yeah.
At this
I
point,
think
who
that
knows?
number one football recruit did that, right? He just took a flight to Alabama.
Oh, that's right.
I believe it was.
I forgot about that.
DePaul.
DePaul.
Somebody threw that name because Shane Hireman went there. But that was a shrewd hire, getting Shane Hireman. Now they got Tiger Campbell coming in 2018. They're still a player for Bowen too, and they landed a good transfer. That coach.
That's right.
Is that sustainable at a program? You hire a coach to get players.
We'll see. I really like Shane Hireman. I
sure.
think he has a bright future in this industry. Obviously, his immediate connections are going to pay off now, and then you're really going to have to prove yourself later on down the road in terms of establishing that, because he's picking players that he's had relationships with, which is going to be different.
For DePaul, it's great. I mean,
It's
you're
unreal.
at that level, and you haven't done anything in a long time. I think it's phenomenal for them.
Oh, it was great for them, and I was a proponent of him coming here, although I think they made a good move with Chin Coleman. I think Chin will show what he's about and what he can bring up in Chicago. He's already done well with THT and IO. But for them to get Tiger, that was a very good ad for them. They're in the mix with Brian Bowen, which that one has been almost as wild, if not wilder, than Tillman. They're right neck and neck for the wildest recruitment of this class. And then, maybe they would jump in there on Tillman, although it was interesting because Shane wasn't too happy when Jeremiah left Lalu. But maybe he would forgive him to bring him up there.
That would be interesting.
Any other 2017 prep options we've mentioned? Is Ignis Brazdeikis?
Iggy.
Yeah. Iggy, yeah.
We go with Iggy. If he's willing to reclass, that's one where it's just like Jamal Murray and Dylan Brooks and Techie from that same CI bounce program up in Canada, where they're going to wait until after Peach Jam in July to decide what they're going to do. So Illinois is going to stay involved. They would take him in 2017, 2018, 2020, 2032, whatever. He's that good of a player. So they really want him for 2017 because there will be less competition, less opportunity to battle with at other schools. If he does stay in 2018, I think Michigan's involved, and there's some other ones as well. But let's just hope Oregon doesn't get a spot, because they always seem to land those Canadian guys.
They do. Man, those Canadians. And if he just had like a year under his belt that he lived in Indiana, then he'd be the perfect fit. Derek Piper's. And he's a lefty.
From Europe, plays in Canada.
Can he dunk?
Oh, yeah.
Oh! Okay, I just got a little excited. All right, Derek Piper's our guest, IlliniInquirer.com. Follow him on Twitter, @DPiperScout. We're going to get to 2018 real quick, and I think everybody understands it, but explain a little bit the reclassification and how that can happen. And obviously it happens more with kids, right, that come over overseas
or
because
Canada,
essentially they've gotten the credits they need, right, to get into school now. So what are some of the advantages and disadvantages, I guess, for these kids? It's just which program. I mean, obviously a kid like that would look at Illinois and say, well, heck, I can jump in right now and play a lot. That's why they would do it, right?
Yeah, a lot of those guys up in Canada have been able to do it, and it's really about the structure of your academics in terms of filling the necessary credits and taking the proper tests and whatnot. And some guys over here don't position themselves to get that opportunity, and some even like to reclass back to give them more time to play against guys that are younger than them.
Sure.
Helps them a little bit. So
yeah,
when you go to prep schools in the United States, but mostly you notice it a lot in Canada for those guys who are getting those necessary credits in and position themselves in case they do want to jump up and play right away. And if talent-wise they're ready, why play another year of high school?
I agree.
What's happened with all this movement, DJ Williams transferring out, 2018 becomes a lot more important.
It does.
And it seems like this staff is a little more bullish on their 2018 options than the last staff was.
Definitely. They want big opportunity there. I think they want up to 3 scholarships to use, and I think they'll try to find a way to do that. Obviously, it will depend on how they fill out the rest of these remaining. And when you think about Okoye, he could possibly be a 2U player, so then maybe you only have 2 scholarships. But they would like 3. Obviously, Io is the guy they would love to get, and he's going to be the number 1 priority. And then you got to choose between Taylor Horton-Tucker or Tim Finke, or really whoever chooses you first. I think that's kind of
that's what it comes down to. I love how everyone always asks the question. I had it in my mailbag today. It's like, all right, they both want to commit at the same time. Like, that doesn't happen.
No, when does that ever happen?
That doesn't happen, but both really good players.
They like both of them a lot. I think they bring some different things, although they're both more offensive players. They're not going to be impact defenders, I don't think. You like Finke's length. You like his athleticism. You like his skill, although at the same time, he's got some athleticism to him, some skill, some toughness. He can shoot the three a little bit better than Tim right now. So both of them, I would take either one.
Yep.
I prefer THT slightly personally, but I would be happy if I'm them. I'd be happy with either one.
I call them Sam Decker light and
Yeah.
Jordan Goodwin light.
Yeah,
I mean that's really good players right there.
Amen.
I'm drinking either one of those. Drinking either one of those light beers over there.
It's funny. I just had this image or this memory of Brandon Paul, DJ Richardson, Joseph Bertrand. They almost did commit on the same day, didn't they? It was like back to back to back almost. But again, it's not going to happen like that.
Right.
It's not.
You need a big guy in that class.
What's
by the
that?
way.
What's that?
You need a big guy in that class, probably.
Yeah.
And they took Bertrand.
I'd be okay.
That would have helped. That would have helped. You do look at that 18, and you look at Io, and you look at Finke, and you look at Tucker. They're all that 6'4", 6'5" range. What about some big guys in that class?
Yeah, Silvio De Souza is going to be the top target, but that's going to be the case for just about everybody else in the country. This class isn't loaded with big guys, and he's going to be pursued by the top of the top. We'll really see if Orlando Antigua can make some moves there. They really like Darius Days, who's also down in Florida, who plays in the same AAU team, although he just got a Kansas offer. So it's going to be tough. They're going to have to see what else is out there. Let's see what I got down here. Travion Williams from Michigan is a guy that they like. He's a little bit, as I've been said, maybe 15 pounds overweight right now, playing up in Michigan. But
Tay-like?
Caleb Swanigan-like, maybe.
Okay.
He was out of shape when he was on the
He
was like
400
60
pounds at one point.
60 pounds.
He was humongous. But, MSU and Michigan will probably like him quite a bit as well. So it's going to be tough. They're going to have to search and see what they can get.
John Gross never was afraid to mix and match with the heavyweights, and I'm not sure it always worked out, obviously, but I assume with Brad Underwood and Orlando Antigua and Chin Coleman and these guys, they're not going to be scared of that either, right?
They will not be scared. They're a very confident bunch, obviously, and all of them, national recruiters, national ties. Orlando Antigua especially is very excited to show what he can do. He's proven it in Kentucky. I know this is a little bit different.
Sure.
Kentucky kind of sells itself.
It feels like he wants to show he can do it without Cal.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And if you're in a room with him, I mean, his personality is great. And I think that he's going to be really, really good for this program.
Is he taller than you?
Just a little bit, yeah.
I forget how tall you are.
Bigger, yeah.
I forget how tall Pipes is.
He can body me up.
Yeah.
Post, for sure.
I mean, what do you make of what this staff has? Like, how is it different than the last staff?
It's a good question. I think that with the head coach, I think that's kind of where it starts. When you have a proven repertoire of winning on a high major level at Oklahoma State, I think that John Gross did a good job at Ohio and turning them around and getting them to the Sweet 16. But then just being known with his offensive mind and the way he's developed players, where I think you've talked about it before, where it was more about relationships with John, where it's more about development with Brad, I think. And then with the coaching staff, you still have Jamal, and maybe a bigger hitter in Antigua than the other staff had. I think maybe your three assistants are bigger hitters than you had before. So Chin Coleman, more in ground with that Mac Urban Fire program. I know that Paris was good up in Chicago, but didn't land some of those bigger ones. I think Chin maybe gives you a better chance to do so.
Derek Piper, freshly cut haircut. I mean, it's
heading down to Georgia.
Heading down to Atlanta.
Oh, that's why you did that.
Nice and fresh, yeah.
Nice warmth down there. You're going to be good. You don't want to be sweating all over the place. I love it.
Definitely.
Thanks for coming out to Bunnies, man.
Always fun, guys.
Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. We lean on him a lot, and it's awesome to do. Follow him on Twitter, @DPiperScout.
Coming up next, we got Matt Silich talking some NBA playoffs.
It is the Tay and J Show.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com. at 217-359-2111.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph.
Hey, it's Stephanie Pratt with Coldwell Banker, the Real Estate Group. I want you to rock out with me on Saturday, May 20th at the Effingham Performance Center to the legendary Vince Neil, the voice of Motley Crue. We're going to rock out to all your favorite Crue hits, and we'll get a limo down and back with Dwayne at Bishop Platinum Limousine. Go to ESPNCU.com and sign up to win tickets today.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. Appreciate Derek Piper joining us. I think he just went in to order the beer chili.
He's a smart man.
Why not? It's perfect. All right, I think we're heading back now, or heading to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line, and it's time to talk some NBA. Former intern, now NBA expert, Matt Silich. How are you, Matt?
Doing great. Really enjoying these NBA playoffs. It's a great time of year for basketball, and I'm actually graduating this weekend, so it's a busy time for me as well.
I bet, and congratulations, buddy, if we don't tell you that. I know that's an exciting time, so congratulations on the graduation. Are you really enjoying these playoffs, honestly? Because it seems like, we're destined for two teams. We know
the rest of the world's really concerned that we're going to get Warriors Cavs again, Matt.
No, it's not that. I just wanted I wanted a little, well, I guess I'll get it tonight. I'll get it tonight with the Spurs and Rockets, but I wanted a little more out of these playoffs, Matt. Am I wrong?
I think it's a fair point. Part of that might be, maybe because you're, not as much of an NBA fan. You might like college basketball a little bit more, and college basketball fans tend to look for the upset and, look for those times where, there's something unexpected happens. But I think, I'm a diehard NBA fan. I really want to see the best teams and the best players play at all times. So for me, just to see basically what I think, we had the 8 best teams left. Now we have 6 teams left, and they're all really, really good. I just love to watch these great matchups. I'm like you said, Jeremy, I'm not feeling bad at all if we have to, labor through a rewatching of the rubber match between the Warriors and the Cavaliers. That sounds great to me. I'd love to watch LeBron go against the super team. So it's all fine to me. I'm still enjoying it.
So of these remaining conference semifinals, which one matters more? Like, which one is of these teams, whether it's the Rockets and Spurs or whether it's the Celtics or Wizards, poses the biggest threat to the team they'd play next?
Well, I think the Warriors are kind of indestructible at this point. They're playing just too good a basketball right now. They're playing too well. They just dismantled the Jazz team that was maybe like the 4th or 5th best team in the league this year. And they just, made them look silly for 4 games. And I know the Jazz weren't fully healthy, but the Warriors are just on another level right now than I think even the Cavs. And the Cavs have played better, but I still feel like they're just a little bit vulnerable. Their defense has enough holes that I feel like both these teams, Boston and Washington, I think they could both exploit some holes. The Wizards could really get out in transition and sort of, run it down their throat. The Wizards have actually had success doing that against Boston, and that's how they won the series against the Hawks in the previous round. And I think that, the Cavs are going to be hard to stop on offense no matter what. LeBron is just too good. But both of these teams have ways that they can just make it a little bit more uncomfortable, and I just don't really see the Spurs or Rockets doing that to the Warriors.
What do you think of tonight's game, Spurs-Rockets, as the Spurs try to close this one out, especially with Kawhi, hurt a little bit? What do you make of the Spurs team that's banged up with Tony Parker out and Kawhi Leonard kind of banged up?
Well, I think you saw it at the end of Game 5 in this series, how much it pays to have a solid foundation with your team. The Spurs have been so successful for 20 years now, and so they've created this this group of role players who can come off the bench and really came out of nowhere. Like Danny Green was a D-League guy. Jonathan Simmons, who was great for them in Game 5, he's a D-League guy. And those guys had huge plays down toward the end, along with, a star who's fading in his last couple of years here, maybe his last year in Manu Ginobili. But I think you saw sort of the benefit of having that long line, that long streak of success. Those guys came up huge late even without Kawhi. Now, that being said, if Kawhi doesn't play tonight, it's going to be really hard. And even if Kawhi does play and he's, playing at 50% or 70% or whatever, it's going to be really hard for the Spurs to win this game on the road. So I can see the Rockets having a bit of a bounce-back game here tonight. I think Harden is tired, and I think at the end of games they may have to manage his minutes a little bit better. I know they struggle without him in there, but D'Antoni has to find another guy. Maybe he could play Sam Dekker, who we saw in the Big Ten a few seasons ago. But there's still some adjustments to be made, but at this point it sort of feels like a lot of it just depends on if Kawhi is fully healthy. If he is, I think the Spurs win the series. If he's not fully healthy, I think Houston is probably going to take this one in 7.
You said the Cavs, have a little weakness. I mean, they're 8-0, but they should be 8-0 against these teams they've played. Is there a reason this team would be weaker than last year's team that did win it all?
Well, I don't think they're really much weaker than last year's team. I mean, they have a nice addition in a guy like Kyle Korver. He brings just a complete knockdown shooter off the bench, and that's something they didn't have last year. They also have Darren Williams in Illini. And he's played really well for them when he's gotten out there. So I don't know if they're necessarily weaker than last year, but I think that the Warriors are just even stronger than they were when they broke the regular season wins record last year. I mean, this is a team that won 73 and then added Kevin Durant. You can say it as much as you want, but it's still just as powerful. They have this offense to the point where the Warriors can really struggle for a few possessions and then say, okay, well, I guess we'll just give it to Kevin Durant and have him post up whatever small wing defender is going to be on him. And I think the Cavs can make the Warriors a little bit uncomfortable. I think they could, really attack the offensive boards. That worked for them for 2 series. They can really run Steph Curry through the gauntlet. They can put him through screen after screen after screen with Kyrie Irving screening or whoever. But all that is probably not going to matter because even if you take Steph out of the game now, as they sort of did in last year's finals, even if you take Steph out, they just give it to Kevin Durant. So I don't think that Cavs are necessarily worse or even, I think there's potential that LeBron, I think, is playing much better this year than he did last year. But at the end of the day, I think the Warriors are just too much better.
Matt Silich will be graduating this weekend. He's an NBA expert already. That's big. That's big. Hey, Matt, I want to ask you this to localize it. You mentioned the fact Darren Williams is on Cleveland. What kind of a role, I know not large, but what kind of a role can Darren Williams play, especially in the finals, and what can he do to help Cleveland maybe overtake Golden State in that finals?
So when you're playing against the Warriors, what you really want to do is take advantage of their bench units. For as good as the Warriors starters are, they still have some holes on their bench. I mean, Ian Clark is one of their bench guys. He's not really, too threatening offensively, and he's just okay defensively. Sean Livingston, who we really like, obviously another Illinois guy, but not college, but the area. And he's another guy who's kind of fading. Livingston is a little bit old now, but he still can provide some value off the bench. But when those bench units are in, the Cavs are probably going to be looking for anybody you can shoot. Just provide some spacing. I can kind of see the Cavs just keeping LeBron in for like 44 minutes a game during this series that is almost certainly upcoming. And I think when he's in and you're playing against maybe a non-Durant, non-Curry lineup from the Warriors, you probably just want guys who are just going to stand there and hit shots. And Darren Williams is perfect for that. He can, he's been doing that his whole career. He can hit a 3. So I think that's where he could really come in and be special. And some of the best lineups the Cavs have had have actually been with LeBron and then just 4 shooters on the bench. So Channing Frye, Kyle Korver, Richard Jefferson, and Darren Williams. Those are consistently their best lineups for going on years now. And so now that you add some guys with a little bit more ball skills to that, like a Darren Williams, I think that really helps. And I think he will play a role, especially against the Warriors bench units.
Well, the Chicago Bulls season ended when Rajon Rondo was knocked out of the first round. I mean, who would have thought that Rajon Rondo, after the season he had, would be such a key for that team trying to upset the number 1 seed. But the Bulls enter a huge offseason, Matt, but I get the feeling they're probably not going to get a good enough package for Jimmy Butler. I think the Celtics will decide to go a different route, take the number 1 pick or whatever their pick is and try to sign somebody else without giving up that pick. So how do the Bulls, who do they get to help Jimmy Butler just be a top 4 team in the East. I mean, I don't think they'll be a title contender, but
J.J. Redick.
Yeah, being the Houston of the East wouldn't be so bad. So
no.
Who can they put around him?
It's a good question. I think at this point, it's probably not. We're probably not, close enough to the summer to get, 10. I mean, I think the Bulls are doing this, but I think from a general NBA perspective, it's hard to get, here are the 10 names, because there's still a lot to be figured out in terms of, who's going to pick up a player option, who's going to pick up, whose team is going to pick up their option, which rookies are going to get extended, things like that still have to be figured out. That being said, you can still look at sort of specific archetypes. And actually, the archetype that I think works well is sort of like a Darren Williams type player almost, for a guy for the Bulls to target, because what they really need, and I know Rondo had a really good playoff run, but I think Rondo, Wade, and Butler, we saw this year, with the three alphas out there on the court, it is just not enough shooting. It's not enough to get it done. Mirotic was good, and I think they'll try to bring Mirotic back because they sort of saw something out of him the last couple months of the season. But in terms of what they need in free agency, I think you're really just looking for a guy to play one of the two guard positions, to play pretty solid defense, because they don't really have a really good defender at the point guard position, which you really need. And then he just needs to be able to sit in the corner and shoot threes while Jimmy Butler goes to work. As long as you have a guy who can space the floor on offense, who's not going to muck up whatever Jimmy Butler's doing, because Butler's great in the pick and roll, he's great at the isolation plays. If you can let Jimmy Butler do his thing and just sit in the corner and hit a three when you get it open, that is all they want. So I think you could see Jaren Grant. I think you see Michael Carter-Williams. I think you could see, Isaiah Cannon, their whole, giant group of mediocre backup guards. Some of these guys are going to be gone after this summer, and hopefully they can replace him with, somebody who can just play defense and hit a three. They just need more of those guys. They need guys who can play both ends.
I love the big, giant group of mediocre guards that were all unbelievable in college.
Michael Carter-Williams is really working for us.
Just mediocre guards.
Jaren Grant.
Which is true, man.
Cameron
I'm not dogging
Payne.
on you. It's amazing when you get, like Sam Decker the other day. He gets in and he looked like a lost pup playing against NBA. I'm just like, that's unbelievable. Matt Silich, my friend, do not trip this weekend. Everybody tells you that. Congratulations again, buddy, and good luck at graduation.
Thank you so much, guys. It's all due to you. I can give you credit for all of it.
Hey, our interns, they sparkle, don't they? Matt, thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Matt Silich, great stuff. Our Tay and J Show NBA experts.
Yeah, listen, you can become unpaid intern at the Tay and J Show and then become an unpaid NBA expert.
It all works out, right? Hey, it will be kind of cool for Darren Williams, I know for Illini fans, to see him in the finals. And it'll be interesting to see if Cleveland can do it again against Golden State. But it'd be cool to see him win an NBA title.
Absolutely. He had a heck of a career.
Yes, he did.
Darren lived up to the hype. I mean, it was him 3 and Chris Paul, 4. Both have had really good careers. Chris Paul is probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Darren's not. But at a point, Darren was the better of the two.
Right.
And he had a really good career. But after that Utah thing went south, he kind of got a bad reputation. Then he got some injuries, got older. But on this Cleveland team, he's a nice piece.
This weekend, Dirt's going to be flying in Farmer City. They've got a couple of big races, late models, 20,000, modifieds, 5,000. When we come back, Lance is going to join us from Farmer City. We'll get you ready for the Farmer City 74. It starts tonight. It goes through tomorrow night. It's big stuff in Farmer City. We'll talk to Lance next. It is the Tay and J Show.
Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
Mark your calendars now for May 11th and 12th for the Farmer City 74 at the Farmer City Raceway. Gates open each day at noon. May 11th, enjoy pro lates and streets and lates with $3,000 to win. May 12th, it's lates with $20,000 to win and modifieds with $5,000 to win. With almost 100 racers over 2 days. Thursday, general admission $25 for adults. Friday, general admission $35. Kids 12 and under get in for free. Don't miss the Farmer City 74 at the Farmer City Raceway, where we'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Papa Dad. This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Are you sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals? Wondering how much money you'll need to last your lifetime? Whether you are retiring in a few weeks or a few years, we can analyze your needs and create a plan that's right for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Jeremy Warner, Lonte, live at Bunny's Tavern, getting you ready for a big event this weekend. It's the Bunny's Bash for MDA 2017. This Saturday starts at 4 o'clock. Helps make camp happen for a lot of kids. And they got raffle tickets they're giving away, 6 for just $20 for a grand prize of $1,000. Second place prize, $400. Third place prize, outdoor gas grill. Awesome. They have a live auction hosted by Randy Mark. It's going to be a beautiful day.
It's awesome.
It's going to be a beautiful day here on Saturday. And performing live, 90s Daughter, starts at 7 o'clock. And, of course, such great food here at Bunny's Tavern.
And Randy McCormick from McCormick Food Services, he does a lot for this MDA event. He is joining us again. How you doing, buddy?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is such a great event, Randy. Last year was kind of the first time I was around it. And, I bought my tickets, did that, but I came out and saw it and was just amazed. They raised over $20,000. They're wanting to shoot bigger this year. How can that
30,
how can you get to 30? I mean, that was such a great event.
A lot of giving hearts out there in Champaign County community.
No
doubt. Really
are. A little bit of, I can tell them what is going on, but you've been here, you're part of it. What can we expect on Saturday?
A lot of things are going on, actually. We've got, this is the 4th annual MDA Bunny's Bash for Cash. And like you said, they raised $20,000 a little over last year. We're shooting for $30,000 this year. The Giving Hearts out there, that we want you to come out. It's a kid-friendly event.
That's important. I'm glad you brought that up.
Absolutely, yeah. We encourage people to come out. Like you'd said, Jay, the 90s Daughter's coming out at the end of the evening after the raffles and everything.
Awesome.
But I'll give you a quick rundown here and tell you what we got going on.
That's perfect.
The only cue that I can't jump in on right now is when it actually starts. Because that's a line I have on my folder here, and I think
it's 4 o'clock.
Is it 4?
4 o'clock.
Okay, because a lot of these events start different times than 4, and I know my better half Susan's got to be out here at 4 to start setting up, so I guess that's when we're starting.
That's when you're doing it.
My cue doesn't start till later in the night, but anyway, these guys and gals, they put a lot of time and effort into this stuff, and with 4 o'clock being said, we're going to have the Urbana firefighters coming out here grilling and chilling.
Okay.
And they're going to do hamburgers and hot dogs.
Burgers and dogs.
Yep, burgers and dogs. $6 for a hamburger and $3 for a dog. And I'm sure they'll have chips and whatnot out here too. And as you guys know, there's Bunny's Food's awesome. So
yes, it is. Explain a little bit your part. You're going to be doing the auction. So explain that. There's a silent auction, but what do you do? What is that? I know I know what you do when you auction.
At 4, nothing. I'll probably have a Red Bull at 4. But
how about when you take the stage?
Yeah, right. We'll run down. We got a silent auction with a lot of different auction baskets. Approximately 45 items. We've got some things in there like some Cincy basket stuff, some metal signage, Cub signage, 4 rounds of golf provided by the University of Illinois Golf Course, which is really cool. And a lot of that stuff, people will walk around as a silent auction and do bids on it.
Okay.
And then you run through that. And if you've never done a silent auction, you try to trump the other person a little bit.
You keep your eye on it
until the hammer drops, and then whoever's at the bottom of the list is the top winner of that item. So,
I love it.
With that being said, then we go into general raffles. They've gotten over 40 gift cards.
That's great.
From local establishments, Biaggi's, Little Porgies, Wedge, Piffa's. Love you, Donna, by the way. Sorry, but anyway.
All the local businesses really step up for this.
Porgy's.
That's awesome.
You got Apple Dumpling, Hooters. I'm just going to get a few of these in. The Original Pancake House, Esquire, and Crane Alley.
Okay, that's awesome.
They've donated gift cards. We've got Bunny's raffle tickets. You guys have probably talked about this a little bit on the air already.
Yes, we have.
$1,000 grand prize, $500 second, and then that finally the
grill,
the gas grill by Lowe's.
By Lowe's. And it's important to note, if you get those raffle tickets, that you are eligible to win the gift cards and such, but you got to be here for that.
You got to be there.
The
That's
main
right.
3 prizes, they'll call you if you win those.
Absolutely. You write your name on it, and they'll give you a call if you win. Hopefully you will.
There's no reason not to be here. It's going to be beautiful. It's Bunny's on a Saturday. Why wouldn't you be here?
Where else would you want to be? You know?
And it all goes towards a great cause.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, these kids, guys, as we know, they're afflicted by a lot of muscular degenerative diseases and things we take for granted day to day affect them and their families. So what the proceeds are really going for this year, and as the last 4 years, is sending these kids to camp for a week. A lot of the kids have said that it's the best week of their year. It costs $700 approximately to send each kid to camp. All these proceeds go directly for that. So if that doesn't hit your heartstring, then, hey. So
it does. It definitely does. Randy McCormick, great stuff, buddy. You'll be out here all day. Well, whenever your missus tells you to get it right.
Oh, yeah, right on. We'll do a live auction. I think we're starting at 6:45.
Fantastic.
Myself and Mark Gudgel will be doing that.
Okay.
And we have a lot of fun with it, make it interactive, and try to keep it good for the kids.
I like this tradition of seeing you every year. We'll do it again next year. How about that?
Right on. Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Thanks, Randy McCormick. Thank you so much,
Gentlemen,
my friend.
thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Good stuff. Good luck Saturday.
Shout out to 93.5. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We love being here at Bunny's Tavern, no doubt. All right, we are live, and we'll see you next hour. It is the Tay and J Show.
Mosquitoes can be a nuisance, and after a mild winter like we had, they're even worse. Let Prairie View Landscaping get rid of those pesky mosquitoes so you can enjoy the summer outdoors without bugs getting in the way. And since it's Prairie View Landscaping's 25th year in business, they're celebrating by offering up to 25% off their mosquito program. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. And if you sign up by May 31st, you can win 2 free mosquito control applications out of 4. Prairie View Landscaping, mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm Kathleen Maloney. President Trump trying to set the record straight on who made the decision to fire FBI Director James Comey. He initially said it was on the recommendation of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein.
He made a recommendation, but regardless of recommendation, I was going to fire Comey.
The president interviewed on NBC News. Comey's ouster, a major topic at a hearing of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Fox's Jared Halpern has a live report.
The new head of the FBI says the firing of Director James Comey has not impeded the Bureau's investigation into Russian interference in the election.
Sir, we consider it to be a highly significant investigation.
So you would not characterize it as one of the smallest things you're engaged in?
I would not.
Acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe answering questions from Senate Intelligence Committee Independent Angus King, countering an assessment from a White House spokesperson. McCabe declined to say how many agents are working that case or say whether or not Comey gave assurances to President Trump that he was not under investigation. Kathleen.
Thanks, Jared. A gunman in custody in Arkansas after a traffic stop turns deadly. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Kathleen, Arkansas State Police say after a standoff of about 5 hours, James Michael Bowden is in the hands of officers. They believe he shot and killed Yale County Deputy Kevin Mainhart during a traffic stop. State Police spokesman Bill Sadler said that led Bowden to barricade himself in a nearby house.
This is also the same location where the two other deceased, who were females, we are not at a juncture yet where we can identify those women.
Bowden had a hostage, another woman who was released. State police will interview her to find out more about the deaths. Kathleen.
Thanks, Gernal. Stocks turn lower, the Dow dropping 23 points, S&P falling 5 points, NASDAQ down 13. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SC was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Coordinated nationwide stings by Homeland Security and ICE round up more than 1,000 gang members involved in drug and weapons trafficking and other crimes.
We also seized 238 firearms and almost $500,000 in U.S. currency, which represents proceeds from the gang's illicit criminal activity.
Derek Benner of Homeland Security Investigation says the largest gangs busted include the Bloods, Crips, and MS-13. The suspects will be prosecuted, some possibly deported. A New York man who joined al-Qaeda and plotted with its leaders on how to attack a commuter rail line is sentenced on terrorism charges to time served, 8 years. He'll be released from prison in 90 days. President Trump on Twitter calls it the continuing death spiral for Obamacare.
Aetna announced it will completely withdraw from the Obamacare marketplace next year. Aetna will not offer insurance plans in Delaware or Nebraska, the remaining 2 states where it was slated to provide coverage. The decision is being portrayed by Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price as a sign of continued instability in the healthcare sector under Obamacare. He said that repealing and replacing Obamacare with patient-centered solutions will stabilize the marketplace to bring down costs and increase choices. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
The nation's top law enforcement officer taking aim at drug abuse.
We're seeing an unprecedented wave of opioid and prescription drug abuse in our country. There's just no doubt about it. It's hurting the whole nation.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions at a DEA summit in West Virginia says more opioids are being prescribed in the United States than anywhere else in the world. He's calling on doctors, dentists, and all medical professionals to help cut down on opioid abuse. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or you can visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, 45 for your low, mostly cloudy.
I think it's 30 right now.
It is like 60 degrees out right now.
What?
You look like you are in
Maybe I shouldn't have worn shorts.
Antarctica right now.
You know what? Once again, my legs not cold. My hands freezing. Is that because if you wear pants, does that help your hands?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Tonight, partly cloudy, low 49. Friday, mostly sunny on, high 72, low 47 overnight. Saturday, warmer, high 76, low 56, and 80s Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay?
This cold weather is not prohibiting people from filling up buckets of beer. I can tell you that right now.
Because they're men.
They're men.
They do. Right now, overcast, 62 degrees in Champaign-Urbana. It's 62. Wow. It is Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit our huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or you can visit them online at drivechampaign.com. We started off the show talking about the latest with the Illinois football players, the 3 that were arrested yesterday morning, and they were in court today. I was there, and players Darte Lee, Zarian Holcomb, and Howard Watkins. They had their arraignments. All three charged with 1 count of residential burglary and 1 count of aggravated robbery. That's down from armed robbery because they did not have a loaded gun. It was a pellet gun.
Okay.
Each count carries possible penalty of 4 to 15 years in prison, a fine of $25,000, and 2 years parole. Bond for each of them was set at $150,000. They are not allowed to leave the state, and all are from out of state. And, of course, it was the end of the school year.
Right.
So they're probably going to go home for a couple of weeks. Holcomb and Lee are from Texas, Watkins from Ohio. Holcomb and Lee pled not guilty today. They have another court date next month, June 27th. And Watkins and his lawyer will enter a plea tomorrow.
I'm sure these kids right now are scared to death. And it was a bad decision. They know this. And now
somebody else is probably scared to death.
Absolutely,
right?
Without a doubt. So it's one of these where it's going to take a while now for all this to play out in the courts. But they all have clean records. That will help them. And then we talked about, if you want to look at the actual football side of things, Watkins, the true freshman, was not in trouble yet with Lovey. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. But, of course, Lee and Holcomb both were already suspended from the team for another different reason that we don't know about. So you worry with all of this combined. And, of course, Lovey Smith won't do anything until everything is gone through the court system. But you wonder if they'd actually be back. And that could be providing some extra spots now, unfortunately, for Lovey Smith and the staff.
Especially on the offensive line. I mean, Darte Lee could have provided you depth and probably is going to have to play this year. I don't know if he's going to be a starter like he was at the beginning of last year, which shocked me. And then he didn't play at all at the end of the season. But he provided depth. Howard Watkins probably wouldn't play this year, but he was depth.
Sure.
Zarian Holcomb was kind of moving around position to position. But you do wonder with Watkins, if he pleads to a certain thing, first offense for him with this football team, does he get the LaRon Black treatment?
Right.
I mean, they're obviously 2 different crimes, all that stuff. But, yeah, you wonder about these kids with the decisions they made, obviously, were terrible decisions.
Not good.
18-year-old, 19-year-old young men.
And we kind of talked about LaRon, the fact that it was more of reactory. What's the word?
Reactionary.
Thank you. And then with these guys, of course, premeditated. I mean, they kind of hashed a plan. It was a dumb one, but they hashed a plan. So I think there's a little difference in that with regards to how you look at that.
And the state's attorney's account of this is there was a little violence in that
Sure.
Zarian pushed a kid that they went into up against whether it was the bed or the wall or whatever it was. So
and they ended up taking the money.
And they took money.
So, well, it's not good, but that's something that now will play out in the court of law, and we'll kind of follow it as we go.
The big news we talked about is Illinois basketball hosting 2 big visitors. They'd be short-term help, but they could be big help for getting to the NCAA tournament in Brad Underwood's first year. The big name is Mark Allstork, the small forward, shooting guard, wing player out of Wright State who averaged 19 points a game last year. Did it on a team where he had to score that much, but obviously he's a proven Division I scorer, and this team needs a go-to guy or at least a go-to second guy on this team. We don't know who the go-to guy is going to be quite yet, but Allstork could fill that role, and there's some other competition, whether it's Georgetown, Louisville might go after him, South Carolina's involved. There's some good teams going after him, but I really like Illinois' sell on.
I do too. I mean, it seems to make so much sense with this young man, and of course the one you'll mention in a minute. Both of these seem to make so much sense. We'll see what Brad Underwood and this staff can do to sell that this year. But you're talking about shots, and for Allstork, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to play in a higher conference, which he's going to be doing with wherever he goes from the horizon. But you could come into a Big Ten program that is on the cusp of a tournament team, and you could be the difference. You could be the guy that gets a lot of shots. He's not probably going to average 19 a game for Illinois like he did for Wright State, but if he could go double figures, 13, 14 a game, and take some of the pressure off of a guy like Mark Smith, a Trent Frazier, a JCL that is probably not going to lead your team in scoring, but one of them will have to if Allstork doesn't come.
Well, and he had some NBA feedback, and what they told him is, hey, we want to see where you're not a chucker.
Okay.
We want to see you in a system, what you can do to perform there. What can you do there? And I think in this system, he makes a lot of sense. I keep bringing it up, and I know I'm repeating myself, but Jeffrey Carroll is the perfect sell.
Huge.
Because he scored 6 points a game, under Travis Ford at Oklahoma State. Then he gets Brad Underwood there, and he's averaging 17, and now he's an NBA draft prospect.
Unbelievable.
Right? So if you're All-Stork, that appeals to me to be a part of this high-powered offense where you're getting up shots the first 7 seconds of the shot clock, you're scoring a bunch of points. That would really appeal to me. And then Okoye Gao, the big man out of Georgetown, 6'8", 225, can really defend people. Only averaged 4 points, 4 rebounds for Georgetown last year, but you're not looking for a big-time scorer. You're looking for your kind of Sam McLaurin kind of player. And I think Gao, again, another great sell for Illinois. You're getting 20 minutes a game.
Oh, without
a doubt. You want to
doubt.
come here, you're getting 20 minutes a game because right now your post rotation is Michael Finke, good offensive player. Moran Black, good rebounder, good scorer a little bit. And then Kipper Nichols.
Oh, wow.
A 6'6" guy, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But you need another big. You need another big guy.
You said the word defend, and that's key. And that's the thing that scares me looking at this roster next year. Yes, it scares me that you only have 9 guys, and that'll be hopefully figured out here soon, but defense scares the you-know-what out of me, especially post-defense. When you're looking at some of the guys you may have to face in the Big Ten alone and not being able to have the bodies, number one, to do that with, but also somebody that's more skilled defensively like this guy could be. What would a timeline be for these guys? We don't know, right? I mean, there's a lot of programs looking at him.
All-Star's taking like 6 visits.
Okay.
I think this is his 3rd or 4th, and he'll be done within the next 2 weeks or next week and a half.
Oh, he's doing it quick.
This month, he should know on both these guys. I would imagine, because both these guys want to get here in June.
Yes.
To start team workouts.
We had Derek Piper here from IlliniInquirer.com, and we also asked him about who else of these grad transfers. There's not a lot out there, is there?
Yeah, there could be more if guys start graduating and then they finally inform their coaches. I think that's going to happen with football, too, which will be interesting because Illinois football could use some grad transfers as well. They need some immediate help. But the basketball, there could be some more that pop up here that, and Okoye Gao is one of the better big man defenders. Mark Allstork, one of the top grad transfers out there, so they might go down their list a little bit. But big man's the biggest thing. They need a body in there that can guard somebody.
You do, and that's the key. So this will be interesting to kind of follow along here in the next couple of weeks.
And for Underwood, this is big because you just want to get momentum.
Yes, you do.
Right? He's got that perfect 4 for 4 in the NCAA tournament. To do it in his first year at Illinois and match John Gross right away
would be incredible.
That'd be great. After getting Mark Smith, you can add some guys. And, of course, the Jeremiah Tillman thing we talked about with Derek. I mean, it's all quiet there. I'd be shocked if he ends up at Illinois, given everything that's happened. But he'd obviously be a great fit. But nobody knows right now. It's a weird situation. Missouri got in there, did their job in getting away from Illinois. Now will they sign him?
Right.
DePaul has been mentioned with him, all of that. But I think the bigger focus is on Iggy.
Yes.
The Euro/Canadian. That could reclassify to 2017. He'd be a great fit.
It sounds like he'd be perfect. Let me ask you this. How would Illini fans, how would they accept Jeremiah Tillman now? I'd be fine.
Oh, they'd go nuts out.
I was going to say, wouldn't they?
They go nuts. I'm just, as a staff, I like that they're not banging down his door.
Amen.
It's like, no, we've recruited you so much.
The sell has been there.
Right. Nothing has changed with us.
Nope.
It's changed with you.
Yep.
You know, the Underwood thing happened, but then they recruited him, and he seemed to retweet his commitment.
Exactly.
And then 2 days later, he changes his mind. Nothing with them has changed since that.
Nope.
They've done this thing the right way.
Yes, they have.
So if you want to come here, come to us. Come visit us. Let's talk about it, how you're going to be a piece of this. Like, we're not going to bow to you. You can't do that with this kid because you don't need him.
No,
right?
But he's got to see what is available.
He'd be a perfect fit here.
I mean, you could come immedially and play 20 minutes.
And he wouldn't have to do it himself.
Nope.
But for Illinois, I worry about that. I am a very big proponent after seeing John Gross fail at it. I'm a big proponent of the culture piece.
Yes.
And
huge.
You don't want to bring in somebody that's talented but could cause a problem. That's why I had red flags everywhere with Carlton Bragg.
Fair enough.
I have those with Jeremiah Tillman.
Okay.
I don't want him to be the diva and kind of ruin what you're doing.
Good point.
And that's the discussion I would have is, hey, do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to work hard and be a part? That would be my concern if I'm the staff.
And, of course, Mark Smith knows Jeremiah Tillman. I'm sure he's in his ear a little bit saying, what's up, man? Let's get this done. Let's go together and get this done. So it'll be interesting. I mean, that's the one thing. When is it? May what? 15?
May 19th is the last day of the signing period.
Okay.
But you can just enroll at a school.
Okay, you can just go. That would be so funny. And Would we not expect that right now out of him? As crazy
just
as
shows
this
up in
has been.
Champaign one day.
Just, hey, Jeremiah Tillman's on campus.
Ends up in Chicago with DePaul.
Might as well play ball while you're here. Hey, we also talked about the red-hot Cardinals, huh? Night off tonight. You hate off days when you're on a roll like this, but the Cardinals just went to Atlanta, swept the Braves. They went to Florida, swept the Marlins. Looking good. Back in first place now in the NL Central. The Cubbies 17-17 in fourth place, but everything going wrong for them, and they're still 500.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yes.
We talked to Chris Raby about the Cardinals, and pitching staff and defense have been really well, and then the outfielders that you brought up with the injuries have done really well with Tommy Pham
and
and Magnus Sierra. They've been really, really good. Then we talked a little NBA with Matt Silich, and he likes what? He said the Spurs and the Celtics in this one, so we'll see where they go from here. But those series are competitive. But do they matter?
No.
Nope. And you know what? I'm cool with that because Cavs, Warriors, sign me up for that.
Get in here as fast as possible, and if it's anything like those finals last year, that's going to be fun, and maybe Darren Williams can get a title with the Cavs.
That's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
When we come back, we'll tell you why we are live at Bunny's Tavern. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. Come join us.
I also want to talk about one of your teams maybe acquiring a superstar.
Oh, really?
Let's just talk about it because it's fun to talk
about. I like this. I like it. Anytime I can get a superstar on any team, I'm with it. It is the Tay and J Show.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
He's an unbelievable player. He can do it all. Great physical scorer, rebounder, good passing big too. As good as his numbers are now, imagine what they would be like if he didn't have three other superstars gobbling up numbers themselves. I'm talking about Draymond Green. And in doing so, I'm also talking about the NBA's next villain. He's in the headlines now, criticizing the headlines. Go back to Monday when Green said he thought teams would have given Cleveland more trouble in these playoffs. And when you watch the Cavs, you're only seeing one side of good basketball, that being the Cavs themselves, not their opposition. All fair points. The story suggested more, though, that Green said the Cavs hadn't really played anybody. That upset him. He wants the record to reflect that he thinks the Cavs are playing great basketball. Okay, fine. And he made that point abundantly clear yesterday, criticizing the media for what he calls chasing a headline and a controversy. The point that he didn't make abundantly clear yesterday is that sometimes people make the media lean towards doing that. And he happens to be one of those people. I'll explain. Just give me 60 seconds.
There are two things every parent wants when their child goes to college. For their child to do well and a way to afford it. Now, with Discover Student Loans, parents can have the best of both worlds. Not only do our loans cover up to 100% of school-certified costs with zero fees, but we'll give them a cash reward for each new student loan if they earn at least a 3.0 GPA or equivalent. That means every A in history or B in math could help them earn a cash reward for good grades. Just one of the many ways we treat you like you'd treat you. Apply now in 15 minutes or less at discoverstudentloans.com. Limitations apply.
The clock is ticking down. It's all on the line for the relentless pursuit of perfection. Tissot Swiss Watches delivers the precision and accuracy expected in your timepiece. This is playoff time. This is winning time. This is your time. Tissot, official watch of the NBA playoffs. Now available at Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, and Jared.com.
Draymond Green's biggest problem when it comes to how he'll be perceived by the public for a while is Kelly Olynyk of the Celtics. See, Draymond Green called him dirty earlier in the week on his podcast, says he doesn't respect guys like that. And that's a problem because I'm about to list some NBA players who all have something in common. See if you know what it is. James Harden, Alan Crabb, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Steven Adams, and Steven Adams again. The answer? They've all been kicked by Draymond Green. Some in the man parts, some in the head, but all kicked. Draymond calling a player dirty, hello pot, meet kettle. That kind of stuff will make people, including the media, gravitate just a wee bit more towards controversy when it involves you. Buckle up, Draymond. This ride could get a little turbulent, but you should probably get used to it. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari Noka.
Protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. Buyer's inspection with a buyback guarantee and seller's inspection. No surprises before closing. Owned by me, Aaron Allenbaugh, and my wife Kim, and serving all of East Central Illinois. Get more details and schedule your inspection today at aamarshall.net.
I'm Jay Lehman, and as a former college and professional athlete, I know how hard it is to eat healthy. That's why Salad Meister is my go-to spot. It can be so expensive and inconvenient to eat right, but at Salad Meister, it's a quick, easy way to eat healthy on a budget. But the best part is that it tastes so good, you forget it's good for you.
Salad Meister, the masters of salad creation, now open in Champaign. Stop in today for a crisp, healthy salad or wrap.
Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini, presents the new Illini shirt jerseys. Available in youth and adult sizes, these highly anticipated Illini shirt jerseys will be released as a limited edition product at the Illini Iowa men's baseball game Friday, May 19th, or get yours in store. The Illini shirt jersey is an exact replica of the jersey the team will be wearing during the game. So come get yours May 19th with Game Day Spirit Fan Store. Go Illini!
Winning can be fun, and we love giving away free stuff, but we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. So here are the rules when competing to win on ESPN 93.5. No purchase necessary. Prize must be collected within 30 days during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2702 Boulder in Urbana. ESPN Radio assumes no liability due to circumstances beyond our control, and any prize may be substituted with a prize of equal or greater value. Winners are liable for any taxes, tips, or other miscellaneous charges associated with the prize. All contestants must have a valid ID and social security number. Our judges' decisions are final and reserve the right to end any contest at any time for any reason without notice. In the event that a contestant is found to be ineligible for a prize, said prize will not be awarded. And if you win, we reserve the right to use your likeness or voice on the radio or online, and any winners must wait 30 days to win again. Get a complete list of rules and more information on any contest on ESPN Radio at ESPNCU.com. Those are the rules, and good luck from ESPN 93.5.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Jeremy Warner, Lon Tay.
Yeah.
At Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana, getting you ready for the Bunny's Bash for MDA. That is this Saturday, May 13th. Starts at 4 o'clock. It's a great cause. They have all these raffle tickets. 90s Daughter will be performing. Live auction, silent auction with so many great giveaways. But this is all for the kids. Making camp happen. These kids get to get away. Got a lot of muscle dystrophy and all that. And get away to camp for a week. It's nice for these kids.
Randy mentioned that last year, and then he mentioned again this year, and you know this now, you've got an 8-month-old child, but I've got a 17-year-old and a 10-year-old, and when he says that these kids look forward to that camp as much as anything all year, I mean, it almost brings a tear to your eye. And it makes you just – yes. Yeah. A week of happiness for these kids, that's fantastic. And listen, you can come have some fun, too. That's the great thing here at Bunny's, and 90s Daughter will be playing. It's going to be perfect, too. You're going to wake up Saturday and you're going to be like, I want to go somewhere and have a beer and sit outside. Yeah. Well, guess what? You can come do it at Bunny's and you can be helping a cause. So it's a perfect situation.
And I just ordered a couple quesadillas.
You did?
It's worth it coming here just for these quesadillas.
I think all we do at Bunny's when we do our show here is just eat.
All right, we got a hashtag Cardinals problem.
Okay.
Coming in on our Chief Bauer text line at 217-359-2255.
Light them up.
Corey and Vincennes. Juan, what would the Cardinals do with Pham and Sierra when Fowler becomes fully healthy and Piscotty comes off the deal?
Well, I think Chris Raby said it, and Sierra's so young,
yes,
and they have big.
He was in single A,
right?
You send him back down and you develop him.
You do. You develop him, and obviously Dexter Fowler's your center fielder for the next 3 or 4 years, so you put him right back where he was. Now, Pham is another story. Personally, I'd almost rather see Pham than Grichuk at this point, and that's what's frustrating to me. I understand the deal about Grichuk and his potential, and I also understand with Pham, and the Cardinals said this the other day, how he runs hot and cold.
Yeah.
He's kind of the Ray Langford back in the day, but he does strike out almost as much.
Pretty good player, though.
He was a good player, and he could lift you. He could carry you for weeks at a time, but that's what Tommy Pham can do. The thing that just interests me, And I know he's left-handed, and that's what saves him, but it comes back to Matt Adams. Would you rather have Matt Adams or Tommy Pham up in a big moment in the game? I would rather have Tommy Pham.
Yeah.
And it's the frustration of why are we seeing a guy like Matt Adams playing left field when you've got a guy like Tommy Pham down there? Now, luckily, that ended.
Yeah.
That stretch ended. But the other thing that Chris Raby pointed out, and it's true, Jose Martinez outplayed he outplayed Tommy Pham in spring training. So Jose earned that, and now an injury shouldn't cost you a job.
Yeah, he's done pretty well.
He's done great when he's gotten
done pretty
in there.
well. Except for Drew Bledsoe. It cost him a job.
He did. He's the one. Yeah, and that worked out.
Greatest quarterback ever. So.
It kind of worked out for him.
Yeah, it kind of worked out.
But I do love Sierra, and I love the speed he gives you. And I think to September, when you can have 40-man rosters and his call-up, that will be fun to watch him run the bases.
The thing about the Cardinals, their lower levels are pretty good.
They are.
Right?
They really are.
It's their AAA. They don't have as many guys ready, though that team's really good. The Memphis Redbirds are really good.
You've got DeJong, the kid from Illinois State that they really like. He's a third baseman, and you could see him maybe being your third baseman of the future. Hits for some power, but more of a Piscotty gap guy, but I think a little bit more power than him. And, of course, Harrison, or the Bader kid, Harrison Bader. But, again, he's blocked now with Dexter Fowler unless you want to make him a corner outfielder.
Double points now through the end of May with the Illini Visa Rewards Card and the U of I Community Credit Union. Double points are waiting for you. Now through the end of May, use your Illini Visa Rewards Card on purchases for lawn and garden, sporting goods, nurseries, and home improvement stores and score double points. Plus, you can earn an extra 1,000 bonus points when you use your Illini Visa for 20 or more transactions each month. Use those points to purchase once-in-a-lifetime trips and experiences. Not a member yet? Visit IlliniCard.org today.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
Man, did I just go on and on about Adam Wainwright?
You did.
For the five guys here in the Beer
Somebody
Garden.
just hung up on us. No, that was just technical difficulty.
We had a little technical. It is the Tay and J Show. Lante, Jeremy Warner, live at Bunny's Tavern.
Can I pull off
summary?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to summarize my Adam
I'm
Wainwright.
good with the Adam Wainwright. Can I throw something at you?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
This is not going to happen.
The Sixers are going to sign Kyle Lowry?
Now, why would you sign a 31-year-old point guard when
you don't want
Sixers?
him? If you're the Sixers, you don't want him? Okay.
Keep losing. You guys are good at it.
Oh, come on. What are we going on our 10th year, I think?
You're going to hit at some point, right?
I remember Dr. J.
This is why, like, as a Bulls fan, like, tearing down. That sounds great in theory.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Sometimes you don't draft the right guys.
I.e. Lante and the Sixers.
So, the Capitals lose last night.
Yes.
I love that bold pick that I made. I thought it was going to work out after Game 6. They won. But the Capitals lose last night.
Yep.
It continues to not work. They continue to not be able to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins.
It's unreal.
I doubt they do it. But if they traded Alex Ovechkin, he is exactly what your Blues need.
He is.
He is exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Even at, 31 years old, I think
yes.
he is? He's got 5 years, $50 million, which is really affordable.
It's incredibly affordable.
In the NHL. Could the Blues pull it off? Like, what could they do to get him?
No, they can't because of the cap. However, let's think about this. Yori Laterra makes $4.7 a year. Mm-hmm. If the Las Vegas squad wanted to pluck him an expansion draft, and there is a chance of that. Laterra is signed
2 years, 9.4 left.
Okay. Here's the deal with the Blues. They are tied up through next year, and then things start to free up. Now, Parayko's a restricted free agent guy.
Same contracts, right? And
You could. But, for instance, if it was 2 years from now instead of next year, the Blues could probably entertain this trade for Ovechkin. So if Laterra gets plucked, that's 4.7. And then you just try to hopefully do something to deal out a guy like David Perron, who's making almost $5 million. No, he's about 3.7.
Well, you have to give up something really good.
You would. Now, in the trade itself, I'm just trying to figure out how to free up cap space.
I would worry about the players you had to give up first.
Okay.
And then you could attach a contract to Washington.
To Washington, that's true. See who they'd want. You would have to start dealing with guys like Jaden Schwartz, Robbie Fabry, Tage Thompson, who's a kid you just drafted, a 6'5 center that's out of UConn, who's an East Coast guy. Maybe that would appease Washington and kind of.
So when does it become too much? Like Schwartz and Fabry, obviously big parts.
Yes,
but you do that.
I would not do Schwartz and Fabry. I would do one of them and then somebody else. I think they're two of the same player that you need. Because if you just got Ovechkin and then didn't have Schwartz and Fabry, then you're right back in the same.
You'd have Ovechkin and Tarasenko.
Right, that's exactly right. So I think if you could do it to where you could get rid of one of those kids and maybe a younger guy like Tage Thompson. The other thing you could do is you've got a couple of defensemen that are young in Joel Edmondson and Colton Parayko. I'd hate to get rid of one of those guys, but I'm sure the Caps would love to have a defenseman like Colton Parayko, who's tall, he's physical, he can move the puck. He's not as great offensively as some of the defenders, but he's getting there. I think if you could do that, then maybe you'd have a shot at getting an Ovechkin, which I think would be incredible.
So it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's
they
fun
did
to think about.
They did have Wayne Gretzky for a year or two. So what the heck?
How did they get him?
He was a free agent, I think.
Nobody wanted him, but the St. Louis
the Blues brought. That was when Arizona brought in Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
and the Blues brought in Wayne Gretzky. I was having a great run as my teams brought in these over 40-year-old stars to my team.
That's fun.
It's kind of cool to know Gretzky played on your team.
It's like Dwayne Wade did the Bulls.
Exactly.
Blues and Bulls, man. We're doing the same stuff over and over again.
Ovechkin, though, that piques my interest there.
Okay, so today Theo Epstein was on the Score, and he said he and Rick Hahn talked about Chris Sale.
Like sat down for a dinner, 3 hours, had some beer?
No. It was a 30-minute or 30-second phone conversation.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. And 10 of that is saying hi and goodbye.
Yeah.
So 20 seconds essentially you had.
So basically Theo said, I heard the price and what he demanded, and I said, that's not going to work.
Oh, wow.
Which, good for Rick Hahn.
Good for Rick Hahn.
Because it's Chris freaking Sale.
Yeah.
He is going to it's him and Keuchel for the Cy Young this year. I hope he wins it.
I do too.
But the Sox got a big price. I mean, Yoan Moncada, the top prospect in baseball. Michael Kopech, a phenomenal pitching prospect, and two more prospects who people project as major leaguers. So they did pretty well early on based on what their value is in that trade. What do you think he asked the Cubs for?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it has to start with Schwarber, right?
Yes. I think it would start with Schwarber.
Did he ask for Schwarber and Russell? Or is Schwarber and Baez too high. For me, that's not that. Like,
I don't think
for Chris
so either.
Sale?
I don't think so either.
No.
Or no, not for sale, right?
No, Chris Sale, yeah.
Oh, this was for sale. My fault.
Yeah. Schwarber and Baez, I need more.
Right. If I were the White Sox, I'd want more than that.
I wonder if he asked for Addison Russell.
Probably. And then probably one of the younger
And
kids,
Schwarber.
too.
Well, Russell and Schwarber.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
Would the Cubs have done? Probably not, because Theo said
they would not trade Schwarber.
Well, because they're major leaguers, right?
Right.
That's why they wouldn't be able to do it.
And he's such a folk hero now.
This trade, like if you did Schwarber, Baez, and Happ.
Yeah.
That's a fair trade.
I think it is. I think if I'm the White Sox, I'd be happy. And if I were the Cubs, you'd have
probably a little too much for the Cubs then, just because how long those contracts are.
Can you
imagine? You talk about
though?
players.
And you'd be getting Chris Sale at a decent price, or Quintana even.
Yeah, they won't give up that for Quintana.
No. I mean, what would they give up for Quintana?
Eloy and Happ would do it for me.
Okay.
I mean, maybe just a lottery ticket pitcher.
See, I don't, man, if you're the Cubs.
I don't think they'll do it, though.
Was it Tellender? Somebody had an article today.
Haw wrote a column yesterday.
Okay.
Maybe Tellender did
I think
today.
it may have been Tellender today that talked about should Jerry or will Jerry Reinsdorf make a deal with the Cubs, and he said he won't. He said he will not do it because he does not. He already feels so little brother.
I think Jerry actually came out and talked today and said.
And Reinsdorf said he would, but he was looking through it saying he says the right things.
Han would.
But Han would.
Han definitely would.
In a heartbeat.
I do have doubts, like Tellender, that Reinsdorf would actually do it.
Wouldn't you do it for Quintana? How much better of a pitcher is Sale than Quintana? So when I ask that question, in other words, you know what
Sale is a top
top three.
I mean, you're talking. He is in the realm. He's not. No one's in Kershaw's realm.
No.
But he is in that realm.
He's top 5 pitcher in baseball.
I mean, I want him more than David Price. I want him more than John Lester.
Right.
He's a top 5 pitcher in baseball starter.
Quintana is top 15?
I'd say top 20, 25.
Okay. It is. It
I mean,
would be
stat-wise, he's been top 10 the last 4 years. If you're going by wins above replacement.
And his contract.
He is so consistent.
Yes.
And I know he's had a little rougher of a start this year, but every year, you know he's giving you 200 innings as a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to give you quality start after quality start.
Yep.
That's just what and that's what you pay $20-25 million a year for.
And if you look at it, if you're the Cubs and
it's
you
worth
look at that.
he's worth what, $8 million this year or something like that?
And if you're Chicago, now, so if you're the Cubs, you got to sit there and say, well, hold on. Now all of a sudden you've got a rotation of Lester. Maybe not in this order. Lester, Arrieta, Quintana, and Hendricks. Right there you've got 3 solid pitchers.
Right, and Hendricks and Quintana are similar a little bit.
I agree.
That's what you hope Hendricks turns into, is that kind of Jose Quintana pitcher.
And if Arrieta figures it out, which I assume he will at some point, that would be an amazing...
And you put that with that offense, I know they won it all last year, 100-something games, but I mean, you're putting yourself up, because that's the thing about Quintana is he's got 3 more years after this at dirt cheap price.
And you were down 3-1. You were down 3-1, right, to the Giants?
Down 2, yeah. We're down 2-1 to them, 2-1 to the Dodgers.
2-1 to the Dodgers. I mean, it's not easy to do. And if you could say that I'm going to throw out Lester tonight, Quintana tomorrow.
It's the best roster in baseball.
And then Hendricks and or Arrieta in Game 3. That would be amazing. And
I mean, they make so much sense.
They do.
But you know it's not going to happen.
And you're giving up 2 guys that have no effect on your roster right now.
Right, Eloy and Happ, and probably a pitcher. Some random pitcher.
So somebody that has no impact right now on your actual roster to get a Jose Quintana. It makes
in
so
your
much
window.
sense.
I mean, in your window is what? The Cubs have what? 3, 4, 5 years here?
Probably. Yeah,
before you got to pay.
These kids are young.
You paid Bryant after what? 4 more years?
Yeah.
Schwarber, you got 4 or 5.
getting paid.
Yeah, Rizzo's getting paid on his first contract.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need pitchers. I mean, Lester's going to – he keeps going up to about $30 million.
You can get Quintana. Oh. You lose Arrieta, but you sign another one of those guys.
Who would the Cardinals have to give up to get Quintana?
Carson Kelly.
Kelly would start there, right?
Bader.
Delvin Perez.
And probably a Delvin Perez.
Bader, Kelly, and Delvin Perez to get a Jose Quintana. I would do it. I would do it if I'm the Cardinals. And then all of a sudden,
that's what the White Sox have. Like, you have still some nice pieces.
You
like,
do.
Frazier's not having a good year, but you should get a prospect for him. David Robertson right now.
Right.
As a closer. I mean, look how many teams need closers. I mean, Baltimore's is hurt.
Yeah. Wait, go back to this Quintana the Cardinals thing. Kind of got me excited there for a
That's
minute.
the thing, is there will be suitors.
Yes.
And they knew that. And
Yes.
whether it's the Rockies could use a guy like him.
Who's the last
the
good
Yankees?
left-handed starter for the Cardinals? And I mean good. I'm not talking, what's his face? Bud Smith? I'm kidding.
He threw a no-hitter one time.
John Tudor. I know. I'm interrupting with what you were saying, but I'm just in my mind thinking next year the pitching staff you'd have of the Cardinals. Even this year with Quintana. Even this year with being able to go into the playoffs with Carlos Martinez and Quintana and then Lance Lynn. I mean, that's not a bad three right there to get you through a five-man NLDS and then take your chances in the NLCS.
Yeah.
With Mike Leake, best pitcher in baseball.
Well, yeah, you didn't mention Mike Leake, Cy Young winner, right?
Arrested Michael Walker. I don't know. I think it makes sense for the Cardinals to get in this.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. It's not like them to do it.
No.
But they have
to give
the
up their
prospects
depth,
to do it.
they never do. Like, when's the last time they did that?
Never.
I mean, the last time they traded a young, talented guy, they got four guys for him, right? Colby.
They traded Alan Craig, and they traded, who was the pitcher? The skinny Joe Kelly.
And then before that, they traded
John
Colby.
Lackey. Yeah, and Colby. Yeah, that's right.
They trade their young guys for multiple old guys. That's what they do.
Isn't
Like
that amazing?
Just depth. That's what they do.
Isn't that amazing? That trade
And
you look back on.
I don't see the White Sox and Cubs making that kind of trade.
I don't either.
I can see them making a bullpen trade.
If they don't trade Quintana this year, if the White Sox don't trade him this year, which is probably not going to happen anyway, do you then change your mind on trading him and just say you're part of our future?
That's what I think a lot of non-White Sox fans need to realize. He could just be our ace.
Oh,
right?
As you're getting good.
You got 3 more years of him. Next year, now I think next year's going to be rough.
Right.
But then you'd have him for 2 years where you plan to be competitive.
Wow.
Right? I mean, you plan to take a big step forward in 2019.
And you
right?
want,
and then 2020 you still have him. So I think people forget about that they don't have to trade.
They don't. And you'd have him and Rondon, right?
Rodon.
Or Rodon. I always do Rodon.
Oh, you're just loaded in that system.
Wow.
And then you just hope, that the 4 other guys work out, but you have so many arms.
That would be fun.
I think in the end, the White Sox are going to have one of the best bullpens in baseball with all the arms they have. And then you hope a couple of those guys, big arms, whether it's Lopez or Giolito or Dunning or whatever it is, work out to starters.
This isn't more fun than maybe 3 years ago when the Cardinals dominated, and that's all we talked about. I'm not going to lie to you, that was fun every day to talk Cardinals baseball. It is so cool to have 3 intriguing teams in our area. To have the Cubs being as good as they are.
White
the
Sox
Cardinals,
right now are interesting.
That's what I mean. All 3 of these teams now warrant conversation on our air.
The White Sox got worse, but they got a lot more interesting.
They did. They totally did. So that's interesting. I don't know. This is going to be a fun season going forward.
Well, and it's fun that they could be both players for some of the same players.
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be. All right, we are live at Bunny's Tavern. We're going to catch a break, our final break of the hour, and come back. We'll tell you why we're at Bunny's Tavern and why you need to be here on Saturday. So far this hour, the Blues have traded for Ovechkin.
Yes.
The Cardinals have traded for Quintana.
And the Cubs did, too.
And by the way, if you're just tuning in, the Blues did not trade for Ovechkin, but I'd take it in a heartbeat. We're live at Bunny's. Stay tuned. We'll wrap things up next. It is the Tay and J Show.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
Need new tires? How would you like to save $200 on a set of 4 select Goodyear tires? Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get up to $200 in savings when you purchase a set of 4 Goodyear tires and use the CarX Drive Card credit card. Your Champaign CarX man has the right tires for your vehicle at any of his 3 convenient locations. And now up to $200 off. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
See store for details.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
As a 300-foot tall dino monster, people think all I'm good at is rampaging. But there's more to me than that. Just like Geico. Yeah, they could save you money, but they also have over 75 years of savings and service. So Geico is super good at insurance. And yeah, I like rampaging. But I'm also a huge fan of
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
You want what's best for your family, and what's better than a home equity loan or line of credit with no closing costs? Apply for a home equity loan or line at First Financial Bank before June 3rd and you'll pay no closing costs. Remodel the house, get a pool for the kids, buy a new car, or take a vacation. Whatever your family needs, your home's equity can make it happen, and First Financial makes it affordable. What could be better than that? Offer subject to credit approval. Property insurance required. Valid on applications before June 3rd. Other restrictions may apply. See first-online.com/equity for details. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner wrapping up. This was a quick 3 hours today.
Ended up being, man.
Hey, once again, let's talk about the serious and why we're here this Saturday at Bunny's Tavern. It's the Bunny's Bash for MDA 2017. It starts about 4 o'clock, but of course it's Bunny's. Why not come out at noon and eat lunch and have some great food? But the firemen are going to be here cooking hot dogs and hamburgers. Hamburgers are $6. Hot dogs, $3. You could buy tickets to win $1,000 cash prize. Second place is $500. Third place, an outdoor gas grill. 90's Daughter will start at 7 o'clock. It is a fundraiser to raise money that stays local to support the Central Illinois MDA summer camp. Last year, Jeremy, they raised $20,000, more than $20,000. This year, they're shooting for $30,000, which is awesome. They're going to have silent auction gift baskets. If you buy these tickets, you're eligible for the 3 big prizes. You're also eligible for all the other gift certificates. They have like 40 of those. You do have to be present to win the gift certificates. But if you're not here, you can still win the $1,000 or the $500. So come out and support a great cause. It's going to be a beautiful day to come out and have a beer anyway. Yeah. So why not come out and do it here at Bunny's Tavern here in Urbana? Best kept secret in Urbana, in downtown Urbana. I still laugh at that. Come on. Everybody knows Bunny's,
I just got 4 quesadillas. I plan on taking 2 of them home.
All we do is eat. That's all we do. I
don't know if 2 of them are going to make it home. I was like, I'll eat 2 for dinner, and I'll take the other 2 home to the wife.
What is the biggest batch of chili you could get? Because that's what I need to get. That beer chili.
Like, okay, if you could do a volume of chili, like what would you want?
That.
Like a
tub? Is
tub,
that what you mean?
A tub of chili.
Oh, you mean the actual.
Can I get a tub of chili?
I've got a pickup truck. I can back the truck up.
Can I get a pickup bed of chili?
You know those farmers have those. Your dad probably has one of those big water irrigation, like those big. I'll just clean that out and just fill it up with chili.
Take that. You can freeze it, right?
Yes, you can.
And then you just
done.
You're good.
Although Bunny's would be like, no, we want you to come back every once in a while to drink your beer here while you're sitting here. But no, come out to
charge.
Yes, yeah, I can. That's true. It's a good point.
All right, so Hardy Nickerson had an interesting recruiting trip.
Really?
He was down in Jacksonville, Illinois. Or not Illinois, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida.
The next Gabe Meganson coming or what?
He was down in Jacksonville, Florida, recruiting down there. And he had an emergency appendectomy. So he must have got a big stomach pain. Went to the hospital. Said he had surgery at St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside in Jacksonville, Florida. But he's all good.
Good.
Back on the recruiting trail probably tomorrow.
What a scary thing, the appendectomy. I had a couple of buddies that had that, and I'm like, how did you know that it was time? And he's like, oh, believe me, when I felt like I was about near death.
We had a friend in college that she went to ISU. She was a friend of a guy in our fraternity house, and she used to come over all the time. She's a big partier. But one time, it was what you call it? Unofficial St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, okay.
I think it was that.
She just happened to make that party.
Yeah, and she said, I got a stomach ache.
Yeah.
It gets tougher. It gets worse and worse.
Uh-oh.
We had to, fake her out. She did not want to leave the party. We're like, you have appendicitis. You have all of the symptoms. We're all on WebMD. You have all of the symptoms.
WebMD.
Yes. We had that by this
bunch of drunk fraternity members making a.
Hey, we're responsible. So we're like, hey, we're gonna go on. We had somebody sober, so we're like, hey, we're gonna go on another beer run. Come with us. She's like, okay. They just drove her to the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, she was really angry at us.
And she did actually have that.
Yeah, she had emergency appendectomy.
So you guys, wow, would you stayed at Holiday Inn the night before?
Yep.
That's impressive. that is the old trips. I had a buddy, I guess, down at Southern that dealt with a pretty serious deal down there as well. I mean, I don't know, that's scary when you're away from home, and now you're putting the fear of God in me as Lucas gets ready to go to college.
Now he will remember that recruiting trip.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. Now you go into the home of a big recruit.
Don't you shame
listen,
them?
I'm here no matter. Look at this fresh scar. I'm here right now recruiting you. You mean this much to us.
You have to shame these kids into this stuff. Like, look
you got to shame a kid into joining your football team.
Look what you caused me. The least you can do is come play for me in Illinois.
Use it. Use whatever you got for going for you, right, Illinois?
Is he going to work out with? I mean, not him. Hardy Nickerson's going to work out as a defensive coordinator.
Well,
but
I mean, he's unproven.
Well, no, I agree, but. Is that going to work out west? Do you see that starting to happen with more California?
Yeah.
I know that Texas now, although a couple of these kids have got in trouble, obviously, from Texas.
They didn't get anybody from Texas last year, by the way. They're hoping to get into that area.
That's right. Those were Beckman guys. Cuban guys.
Talking with Lovey on Tuesday. Oh, yeah, did you see that, Claves?
Bam!
But Georgia, they want to get into there. They want to get into Texas a little bit more into Alabama and St. Louis, of course. California is an interesting place because Hardy does go there. But even I talked with James Kirkland last week, their director of player personnel, and he said to get a guy, he had a map. He goes, to get a guy go from here to here.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's really difficult unless you have a connection.
Okay.
So Bennett Williams was a kid last year.
Right.
Hardy played with his father.
Okay.
At Cal. So they had a connection there. He had no other Power 5 offers. They were upset at Cal for not offering because they were a legacy there.
Well, sure.
So Illinois was able to get a kid like that. You got to have a connection.
You do.
To get a kid from there. I mean, Florida's a little bit easier because there's so much talent. They all can't go to the SEC, right? And the Big Ten's not that far away. They get to see those games. But Pac-12 country, that's a long way away to get a kid. So they'll go there. They'll recruit there and try to build connections. But you're talking maybe one kid, two kids a class. But that can really supplement you, right? When you're focused on Illinois, I think every year you're going to get the most kids out of Illinois and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the two spots you get the most kids.
I'm fine with that.
And then Texas, you want to get some kids. St. Louis, you want to get some kids. Maybe Indiana every now and then. Some other states, like North Carolina. But you want to get more out of Texas this year because there's, just like Florida, there's so many of them.
Beckman and that staff had a lot of connections in Ohio. And you got guys to come from Ohio. The linebacker, I can't remember his name, was really good from Ohio. I think Spencer. Mason Monheim. How do you just immediately lose those connections when coaching staffs leave? Or I would assume that
those connections were so deep, right?
They were.
Beckman grew up there, recruited there for a long time in the MAC, and then Alex Golesh grew up there and coached there as well. So a lot of that staff was new Ohio, but they relied on it so much.
They did. Probably too much.
Yeah,
almost.
Probably too much. They need to recruit the state better. They need to get down to Florida. And that's what Cuban brought in. He brought in some Florida ties, and a lot of their better players on the team right now are from Florida. So they need to work up the in-state kids, and they've done that. Yeah. Obviously signing 10 Illinois natives last year. Their 2 commits so far are from Illinois. They're in on a couple other kids, but they need to improve that as well.
Cardinals off tonight. Cubs off tonight. Cy Young going for the White Sox.
That's right, Derek Allen.
That's unbelievable.
Going to get a good prospect for him, too.
You know what? You are.
Get our version of Jake Arrieta. Let's do it.
Figure out what you want, baby. Hey, this has been fun today at Bunnies.
A quality start out of Derek Holland, lose 1-0. That's what we want.
Yeah,
that's what we want as White Sox.
That's cool. Hey, we had a great list of guests today, and we thank them all. Chris Raby joined us from KMOX Sports in St. Louis. Talked some Cardinals with him. Also, Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. He joined us here at Bunny's Tavern. Matt Silich, former intern, came and spoke to us about the NBA, of course, and then we talked all about the big MDA deal that's going on this weekend here at Bunny's.
Yeah, it's the Bunny's Bash for MDA, sending kids to camp, as he said.
Awesome.
It's their best week of the year. They look forward to it all year. It's this Saturday, May 13th, at Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana. They got raffle tickets. 90's Daughter will be performing, live auction, silent auction, a bunch of great stuff going on here. It's going to be a beautiful day.
It's awesome.
Come support Bunny's Taverns. Bunny's Bash for NBA this Saturday. Starts at 4 o'clock.
Hey, don't forget Farmer City 74 tonight in Farmer City Raceway. Tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, late models, they're racing for $20,000. Modifieds 5. So there's a lot of stuff going on at Farmer City Raceway if you get a chance to get that way and catch that as well.
And thanks to all our buddies here.
Yeah.
At Bunny's Tavern. We appreciate
Everybody's
it, guys.
been sitting there drinking, making us feel bad. It's like, must be nice. All right.
I got some quesadillas to eat.
Exactly.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
It is the Tay and J Show. Start eating.
Hey, Cardinals fans, the San Francisco Giants are coming to St. Louis the weekend of May 19th, 20th, and 21st. That weekend is loaded with great giveaways. Friday night, it's the adult 1987 red mesh batting practice jersey. Saturday, the Purina Cardinals Pet Bowl. And Sunday, the adult rhinestone cap. That's May 19th, 20th, and 21st. The Cards and Giants. Tickets available at cardinals.com/promotions. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
It's hard to believe, but it's been 30 years since I was part of the National League champion St. Louis Cardinals of 1987. Hey fans, Ricky Horton here to celebrate that team on Friday, May 19th, when the Cardinals face the Giants. It's the 1987 red mesh batting practice jersey giveaway. 30,000 fans 16 and older can warm up like the pros with this 1987 BP jersey. It's an item you don't want to miss. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
If you have nothing to smile about, schedule an appointment today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Turn your frown upside down and show off those beautiful teeth. We all have unique smiles, and we know what it takes to maintain those smiles. After all, a smile is like a personal signature, whether young or old. Maintaining your beautiful smile has never been easier with a visit to Angel Smiles Dental Center. From fillings, crowns, and root canals to dental implants and braces for kids and adults alike, Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul will serve your entire family for all of your dental needs in all stages of life. Angel Smiles accepts the medical card for most services. For those children 20 and under, they accept a number of insurance plans, and they have an in-house dental plan to help people who have no insurance at all. Angel Smiles Dental Center is waiting to see you. Schedule a visit today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Visit angelsmilesdentalcenter.com. That's angelsmilesdentalcenter.com, or call 892-8868.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Shop 10,000 Villages in downtown Champaign for Mother's Day this week. Jewelry makes the perfect Mother's Day gift, and 10,000 Villages has earrings, necklaces, and other jewelry that Mom will love. Plus, now through May 13th, all jewelry at 10,000 Villages is buy one, get one 50% off. Find Mom something she'll love this Mother's Day at 10,000 Villages, 105 North Walnut in downtown Champaign.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.